education student and not autistic or special needs.
Did you go live yet?
And details
Yeah.
have been
You mean
released
go back
for
out?
Sunday's announcement by Mayor Pete Buttigieg.
Hold on. We'll be right back.
The presidential
All right, here we go.
It was off, right?
It is now. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595. 95.3. That is 2595953. Do want to remind everybody that we are live streaming. Sorry about the tardiness for those of you watching the live stream. We had to take care of some business off camera. But we are live streaming on YouTube at youtube.com/Casey the host. That's CASEY. We're also on Twitch at twitch.tv/Casey the host. John is twitching over there. I probably should put the camera on because he does really odd things when he's in here until Joe gets here, when he gets out of class. Joe gets out of class. It feels so weird saying that. I don't know why. It feels like just the other day that I was in school. Speaking of being in school, I've got an update on the Discovery Middle School situation. We were able to talk about and it is kind of interesting how quickly local media outlets get stories that I post. I'm just saying. They never cite me, but it is interesting how quickly they get these stories. So yesterday, obviously, there was a video that was circulating around locally, Discovery Middle School. There was people are calling it a fight. It's not a fight. It was an assault. Okay. One kid was assaulted by another kid while the assaulter's friend recorded it and egged him on. The kid who was being attacked looked thoroughly confused as to what was going on, had no idea why this seemed to be happening, and wasn't attempting to defend himself. And he got hit in the head and the face several times. And it was an unpleasant video to watch. Okay. I mean, here's the thing. There are situations where there's mutual combat and you just have kids that throw down. And sometimes you just have adults that throw down too. I mean, this is just one of those things. It's a mutual combat sort of a scenario. This was not that. This was somebody in the bathroom being attacked by somebody else. And it wasn't what I would call a fair fight or a fight at all. It was just an assault. Now, here's the thing. This happens at schools. All right. It happens at schools. I posted it because it was local interest. Initially, the rumor was that the kid being attacked had autism. That appears to not be the case. All right. And of course, as we posted it, Take Notes Media, I made sure that I told everybody that I couldn't confirm any of that. Okay. So it's okay to do that. It's okay to post something and say, we can't confirm all of this, but this is what we're being told. That's all right to do that, news folks. So we did that when we got the letter that was sent out to parents by the principal. We published the letter, which had that clarification in there. The problem is that the letter from the principal at Discovery Middle School also had a lie in it that teachers intervened in the fight, and they did not. And the letter says, well, you can't see the teachers intervene in the fight. Well, that's because they didn't. The fight was over at that point. Now, the teachers might have gotten there as quickly as they could, okay? I'm not blasting the teachers who arrived on scene. There's no reason to. They didn't know the fight was happening. But there's no reason to mislead parents and guardians by sending a letter home that says the teachers immediately got in as fast as they could and they broke up the fight. I mean, that's the interpretation that people are going to get from that when they say the teachers intervened. But teachers did not intervene. This kid was assaulted for some time. And then the assaulter told him to get out of the bathroom, and he got out of the bathroom, and then the video stops. And then at some point, I assume outside of the bathroom, according to the letter from the principal, that's when teachers were able to establish what happened. We don't know how long after the video stopped and the assault stopped that happened, okay? But regardless, there was no reason to mislead anybody. So the principal made a huge tactical error by even saying that because she wasn't being honest when she said that. Well, then we end up learning from multiple sources that the kid that attacked the other kid and his friend who was recording the video have a long, rich history of this type of behavior. So now that becomes, okay, we have a systemic disciplinary issue at Discovery Middle School when it comes to these two particular students. And so that leads to a whole host of other questions. One, why are those students still in school? Is that because of faculty? Is that because of the school district? This is in Penn Harris Madison. Is there a prevention? Does the faculty want the kids gone, but the district will not allow that to happen? I mean, what's the situation there? We asked all of these questions yesterday as we were discussing this. I think we talked about it in the 5 o'clock hour. And, you know, these are things that obviously parents have concerns about too. Another question was, what was the discipline that happened to the students involved? Because the letter says all students involved were disciplined. Now, obviously, the school can't talk about who the students were, and they can't get into specifics. That's law and that sort of thing. And I didn't expect them to. Obviously, people still want to know. Well, what we have learned is that the student who was attacked was not suspended, but the two students who were involved in the attack, the one who recorded and the one who actually physically assaulted, apparently got a 3-day suspension. So that's what we're dealing with, a 3-day suspension, which isn't all that much, especially considering you just assaulted a kid in the bathroom who wasn't defending himself. Oh, and you have a history of doing this. So I have had multiple parents now with their kids at Discovery Middle School contact me and say, we all know who these kids are. Everybody stays away from them. They are a constant problem at this school. Nothing is ever done. And there's now some backlash as a result of that. So here's what I have heard from people who go to the school. Now, once again, I want to point out, I'm getting this kind of, through the grapevine, okay? Again, media, you don't have to claim everything's a fact if you don't have it firsthand knowledge. But I also have no reason to doubt my sources on this. What I am told is that parents and some students are organizing a potential walkout for Friday. And the reason that they are doing this is because this is supposed to be a zero-tolerance school. They've got anti-bullying posters all over the place. They've got the 5-star program, which is amazing there. And this school is not doing what they should be doing to protect students from a perpetual threat from these two. So that brings up, a whole host of other questions. Now, we don't know the situation with the parents, the family life of these two kids or not. I don't know. We can draw some deductions and things like that by looking at their clothes and their hair and things of that nature and see that there's some, I don't know that I see poverty with them, nor do I think that would be necessarily relevant. But I know that people always look at that. Are these poor kids upset at rich kids in Penn Harris? And that's not the case. It doesn't appear to be the case. But everybody's making their own speculation about this. It just looks like you got a couple of kids who are running around and nobody's bothering to rear them or steer them in the direction that they need to go. And so they're doing these things. And so for whatever reason, this other kid who is now all over the internet getting attacked was assaulted in the bathroom. And even after he wasn't defending himself, the other kid, because I don't know, does the stupid haircut make him feel like he needs to throw extra blows when somebody's not defending themselves? I don't really know. He decides to continue throwing punches at somebody who is not protecting himself. That's a huge problem. And when you're adults and you're out in the real world and these things happen on the streets, the moment an adult stops defending themselves and you keep attacking, guess what? The crime you're charged with goes up significantly at that point. And I told the story of how my uncle, he beat the tar out of some kid when he was 15 or 16 years old who had called my grandma a name, all right? So he beat the tar out of him and he was arrested. He was charged with a crime. He went to juvenile hall. He had probation and all of that stuff. Had a probation officer visited the house on a regular basis. And here we have 3-day suspension. Is that what we have? I mean, I would hope that legal action would be taken because at this point, based on what I am hearing about the other two students, that might be the only wake-up call that they have to divert them from the path that they're on. They might have to have law enforcement get involved. Because right now, it just seems like they can run around, attack people, do whatever, and, I get a couple of days off of school and that's it. Yay. I mean, big deal. So something has to happen. The rumor is that students and parents are organizing a walkout on Friday to protest the school's policy, which is supposed to be zero tolerance and supposed to be really anti-bullying, but they don't appear to be doing anything about actual bullies. So that appears to be happening. Now, again, from what I understand, this is kind of in the initial stages, and we'll see if it actually happens on Friday. I don't know. And things can certainly happen between now and then that would prevent it from happening. But the latest I've heard is that parents are pretty upset about this because they know that these are repeat offenders. Everybody knows who these kids are. Everybody does. They have a reputation. And the fact that the student who was assaulted did not get suspended while the other two did, but only for 3 days, kind of is playing. I had one person kind of tell me, it just kind of seems like they're treating this as, kids will be kids. And that's not what I saw in that video. So that's the latest information I have on that. Of course, if you have any updates, let me know. But there appears to be an organized effort to have a walkout on Friday at Discovery Middle School to protest the school faculty's, I should say the administration, not the faculty, the school administration's inability and or refusal, I don't know which it is, to deal with a perpetual problem of violent offenders on their campus that seem to have a reputation and it hasn't been dealt with. So that's the latest that I have. If you have anything else, again, contact me, let me know. I'd be happy to pass it on. Of course, everybody remains anonymous unless you say I can use your name. 574-2595, 95.3. Got more coming up on Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3. Michiana's News Channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 25 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Stymie's busting out the BJJ.
Now, Home Comfort Experts, your air conditioning professionals' 5-day forecast.
A few showers moving through this
Okay.
Italy.
Huh?
Are you staying on this? Or
Yeah, I'll take calls on it.
Michiana's News Channel, would you like to talk to Casey? And your first name? And calling about?
Where do you get the flat earth thing from?
All right, sir. Hang on.
Where do we get the flat earth thing from? What are we talking about here?
Can't rule out an isolated severe storm.
What did I miss?
Yet. For Friday, we'll have a few morning showers, and that will clear out for the second half of the day. We're left with cooler weather.
Have you had anybody chit-chat with you since you've been back from vacation about a flat earth situation, John?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Do you want to turn the mic off?
Yeah, I'm going to turn the mic off for just a second, folks. I'll be right back. Hold on. Let me mute it. I'll keep it on here, and I'll be right back. Don't get mad at me, Twitch people. Mic's back on. Thank you.
Oh my gosh, I was going to go upstairs and get my phone.
Lots of meetings.
Casey's causing problems. Michiana's News Channel.
What's the truth? Uh-oh.
And your first name?
What's the truth of what? Damn it, what did I do now?
And you're calling about?
The truth is,
all right.
The Earth is a cube.
Michiana's News Channel, would you like to talk to Casey?
And the black hole that they photographed is the Eye of Sauron. That's what happened.
About the school incident? All right, hang on the line.
Oh, was he? The last of the Doolittle Raiders passed away. I didn't know that. No, I didn't see that. What a shame. What a shame. Have they done a really good movie about that? Because I feel like they need to do a whole movie dedicated to that.
So when someone comes in trying to, you need to buy this because I need to make my donation for the month or for the week, we actually are more interested in helping you find what is right. I would rather somebody leave than to buy something they're not happy with or feel that they were pressured.
We're in on the round earth conspiracy. That's it. But I'm not a part of the round Earth conspiracy. It's clearly a cube. Clearly. If it were round, we would all trip and fall as we were walking. There we go.
85.3 MNC.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. Yeah, some confusion with some people in the live stream. The kid who was attacked did not get suspended. So it was just the kid who attacked him and the kid who recorded it and egged him on. The attacker and the recorder are friends, and they are the problem makers. So the kid who was attacked was not suspended. Okay, a couple of people may have been confused by that. I apologize if I wasn't clear enough. 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You know, in the adult world, one of the ways that we keep our attackers at bay is with boomsticks. And if you go to Second Amendment Arms and Range, you can get one. And then you can get all of the ammo and accessories to make your boomstick that much more scary and make the politicians really afraid of you. But then you can also take courses and learn how to effectively use it safely and wisely. So go to secondamendmentarms.net, mention me, get half off your range time, 10% off your store purchases, and you get exclusive discounts on firearms. Go to secondamendmentarms.net. We're back on this Discovery Middle School thing. I actually wasn't planning on really talking about this today, but I had some people contact me with updates on this potential walkout on Friday with parents and students who are concerned that, you know, they have an ongoing problem with some of these students here with attacking other students or bullying or what have you, and the administration doesn't seem to be doing anything about it. Ben, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hello.
Hi, Ben. How are you?
Oh, hey, Casey. How you doing?
I'm doing well. What's up?
Hey, listen, what is so ironic and disturbing about this whole situation is that you will have kids who have been suspended for far lesser things. I mean, not just suspended, but expelled.
Yep.
For example, I mean, you can have a kid. I mean, I'm talking about grammar school kids for pointing their fingers at somebody and making believe that it's a handgun in their hand and just going bang, bang, or drawing a gun and then taking that piece of paper that's been drawn and cut out to make it look like a gun. And they'll get even expelled for something that's far lesser than a situation like this. Then we have such a situation which you've been describing that really warrants an immediate action. I mean, and something that really needs to be handled on a much stricter sense. And they're basically just kind of like rubbing their hands and just kind of like giving the kid gloves.
Yeah.
And it just seems like this whole thing, school, they just have an agenda about, you know, when it comes to real violence, they really don't want to do anything about it.
Well, and this is the thing. Remember this kid a few years back? He was in a school in Indianapolis. It became really big story here in Indiana. And this kid was gay, and he was constantly being bullied and harassed. And I mean, they thrown his head into lockers and things like that. And his mom and him, they couldn't get the kids that were doing it. It was the same group of kids that were doing it. Could not get them to discipline those kids. This is maybe 5 years ago. Maybe. I might have been doing the morning show. I might have just transitioned in the afternoons here. I'm not really sure, but it wasn't that long ago. And what ultimately happened is he took a taser or a stun gun. He took a stun gun to school because the school would not deal with these students. There was like 3 or 4 of them were harassing him. And so he pulled it out to defend himself one day. He didn't actually, zap anybody, but he pulled it out. And as a result, of course, he was arrested. He was the one that was, all over the news and everything else. But he's just trying to defend himself. And if you're saying that you're not going to do whatever you can, I mean, the school's response, I think, was don't dress the way that he's dressing or act the way that he was acting or something of that nature. But like you pointed out, we've done many stories where people get, at least a week suspension or sometimes expelled or transferred to opportunity schools and things like that just for squirt guns and drawing guns and things like that on pieces of paper. And here we have repeat offenders attacking somebody. They get 3 days. Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. So it's like, number one, I'm glad all my kids are grown. They're out the house. And in fact, I have a grandson of my own. But it's just to the point where it seems like they do not really want to deal with an actual real situation. But when it comes to something dealing with this off-the-wall stuff, dealing with handguns, which really warrants no reason, no rhyme or reason.
Yep.
They're going to go ahead and attack that.
Yep.
So anyway, that's basically what it is.
I appreciate it, buddy. Thank you. You take care.
Sure.
Yeah. You know, here's another thing. What a lot of schools do, they just call the resource officer, and then the resource officer has to come and deal with it. And usually by the time the resource officer gets there, the situation is already escalated to the point where, you know, normal teachers and administrative faculty, they're just like, we don't want anything to do with this. And then it gets ugly. And then what do? They turn on the resource officer and they fire the resource officer. Now, I mean, obviously, we're meshing a bunch of different scenarios into this one situation, but you still have repeat offenders on this campus that don't appear to be handled, and that's an issue that's an issue that we have to deal with here. Penny, welcome to the program.
Thank you for taking my call.
Sure.
I'm a grandma, and I have 2 granddaughters that go to the Penn Harris Madison district.
Okay.
And I think that it's going to take more than just the students and their parents. I think that you ought to broadcast this and make it a big event to show that the community is behind not letting this bullying keep going on.
Yeah. Well, that's a little bit of what I'm doing here today. If nothing else, it's Wednesday. Now the media out there who gets their prep from me and other individuals will know about this potential walkout on Friday. And now there's going to be more cameras and more attention on it if it does happen. And maybe there'll be more participants, and then, maybe something will change. And that's the idea.
Well, I'm hoping so, because Penn has a habit of just brushing stuff under the table every now and then. And it would be nice for the community to back this poor student who got beat up for, I don't know why, but he should not have been beat up.
No, I agree. I agree. Penny, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Let's see. I can see if I can sneak in Steve here. Steve, you got about 20 seconds, man. Hello, Steve. All right, cool. We don't have to take Steve. All right. Well, I mean, look, this is, like I said, this is an issue where if potentially the school wants to get rid of the student, but they're not allowed to by the district. Okay, we need to know that. And if the school's just not doing what's within their power to get rid of problem kids, well, then we need to know that as well, because there has to be a change. And that's the real issue here. So, all right, we got a couple more phone calls on this that we'll take here in just a couple of minutes, and then we'll move on. MNC News Time is 3:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey? And your first name? Scott, calling about the school situation? All right, hang on the line, buddy.
Yeah, I don't know if they're related to any faculty at that school or in the school district. It's a good question. People have asked. I don't know. But I think you run into a lot of administrators that, one, don't want problem kids out because they genuinely believe that if they just kick them out of the school, all you're going to do is set them down a path that's even, going to lead them into more trouble. Okay, so there's a genuine concern that not working with them and keeping them in the school environment, you could potentially be making it worse. There's others who just want the extra money that comes with it because you get more money for kids that are there. And you said you have these programs like the one that was in Florida, which originated, I think it originated in Illinois, which ultimately led to that shooting. So there's a whole host of reasons that could be behind this, but these are repeat offenders that are running around. They have a reputation for doing this sort of thing, and they just did it again, caught on camera, 3-day suspension, and that's it. And that's why people are upset. What's up, Kiefer? How you doing? Steve's in the hallway intervening Casey's show. Oh, I got you. Got your comment. Well, hopefully it's clear now. Attorney General William Barr today telling lawmakers he believes there was surveillance on the Trump campaign. Got some Twitchers on here. Pretty cool. Good deal. Tracy, just since I know you're going to ask me, yes, I got the email. I think you saw the picture. I tried setting up all of the tax info, but because I'm homeless right now, I didn't get it didn't jive with their records.
Power outages
Is what it
and
was.
life-threatening travel conditions from the Rockies to the northern plains and Midwest.
Old habits die hard. So who saw the black hole, better known as the Eye of Sauron? You see this picture? It's pretty cool, though.
Minutes from the latest Fed meeting show officials don't expect.
It's not crystal clear, but they were saying that to get a picture of a black hole, you needed the ability to photograph a bagel on the moon. And so that's what they were able to do with this network of telescopes, I guess, that they used. But it's pretty cool looking. But it does. It looks like the Eye of Sauron.
Now, home comfort experts, your air conditioning professionals.
And who watched the video of the ocean bugs eating the alligator? That was really cool.
Of 67. We'll stay dry for a majority of the Thursday with even a couple peaks of sunshine. The chance for storms returns in the evening.
All right. What else do we have to chit-chat about today? I feel like there's more than one thing. CBD oil. Look at John Zimney doing CBD oil commercials. Is it racist to call it a black hole? Of course. Technically, it's not a black hole. It has no color. So, yeah, maybe.
And a full bar to put the finishing touches on your visit. Just a short drive from anywhere in Mishawaka, located between the 9th and 10th holes of Four Lakes Golf Course.
Oh, I did. Nice, Matthew. Nice.
Open to the public. Check out our daily specials today.
Did you see the picture of the black hole?
Through Saturdays to take.
What black hole?
Did you see the picture? You didn't see the picture? It's the first picture of a black hole ever got released today, man.
I saw a movie called The Black Hole back in the 80s.
I saw a lot of movies about black holes back in the 80s, but this is the first actual picture of a real black hole. The first one.
Joke?
No, it's a real thing. They've been announcing it all week, John. You're the news guy. You're back from vacation.
Casey, I'm the news guy.
They used 8 telescopes to get the shot.
Cover local news.
This is local news.
Really?
Well, a black hole could swallow all of us.
By the way, I want to go on record as saying something.
Oh, God, he's on record. Here we go.
So yesterday you were talking about me recalling a conversation we had 9 years ago.
Yeah, but you telling me not to look at the city.
Yes, and I stand by that. 9 years ago, though, I will say that there has been some work to clean up that area of town in the past 9 years.
I don't know that I see a big difference.
Well, there is a bit of a difference, but just I would like that to be said.
Okay.
But yes, I stand by what I said 9 years ago, though I'm not sure it applies today. And I don't know the last time you've driven there, but actually I have driven in that area recently, and I even thought to myself, wow, they've kind of cleaned it up. Now, I'm not saying it's pristine.
I mean, I was there a couple of months ago, and I didn't get that impression.
I'm not saying I beat off the ground.
I didn't get that impression at all.
But, you know, and obviously Pete Buttigieg agrees because there has been considerable amount of work and resources put into...
Oh, there's been some resources in there.
Yeah, that effort there. So, you know, not everyone agrees with the bike lanes and all that other stuff, but it does look...
Do the scooter lanes use the bike lanes, or do the scooters use the regular traffic lanes?
I'm not getting into that. I don't know. I haven't been on the bike in 30 years, and I think if I tried one of those scooters, I'd probably kill myself or other people.
I did. I watched a 50-year-old dude just eat crap in downtown South Bend when they did that trial.
It looks fun.
He ate it.
It looks fun. I think I would literally damage myself or somebody else.
Yeah,
so
they should at least be 3 wheels. But
I think they do make some with 3 wheels.
That wouldn't surprise me.
I've seen some in Indianapolis that were 3 wheels.
Yeah, because, okay, so Lime, they had the old scooters which blow up. So they're phasing those ones out.
In Indianapolis, the scooters, they're like pigeons in Central Park in New York. I mean, that's how prevalent they are in Indianapolis.
Well, and there's a lot of companies that do it, but Lime is the one that's here. And a lot of, like, if you go to Chicago, the stuff that you use there in Chicago, you have to return it. You can't just dump it on the ground somewhere. So that's always the issue, is this, there's no place to return it.
Are you going to live blog the big announcement on Sunday?
No, I got better things to do. On
Sunday?
Sunday?
Listeners would want to hear your...
I got a whole show. I have a whole show I'm doing on Sunday in Elkhart. I have a whole show that I'm doing.
Well, that's great. But for the people who aren't going to that, and follow you via social media, you don't think you're going to let those people down by not having commentary about it?
Angie, if you're watching, get me a live stream camera behind me when I do my show. Casey does Elkhart on Sunday, so we can live stream Mayor Buttigieg announcing his adoption.
Yeah. And what time is your event on Sunday?
2 to 4.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I would think that.
I don't know what time his is. What time is his?
2 o'clock. It's going to be happening at the same time. You should seriously.
Okay, I will designate somebody to be the live stream updater person.
Don't leave it up to Casey because he won't be able to figure it out.
Of Pete Buttigieg.
When it comes time, because I've been through this with him before.
I can figure it out. It's not my fault. Everybody gets their electronics from eBay.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, so I was actually considering playing the Candace Owens clip today on the show as a good primer for the St. Joseph County Lincoln Day dinner. I still don't have a date for Saturday. I got nobody to go with me.
Yeah, are you really bringing a +1?
I can't find anybody to be a +1. Nobody wants to be a +1.
I'd be a +1, but I'm already going to be down.
Well, I almost asked you anyway. No, I tried Joe. Joe doesn't want to do it. So I don't know.
How about Carl Swenson? What?
I didn't even think about Carl.
You might want to go. Came to noise.
It's true.
Michiana's News Channel, which likes to talk with Casey.
That's timey.
Michiana's News Channel, which likes to talk with Casey.
Good stuff. Oh, did you all see that the theory of evolution was destroyed again this year? We're only what 4 months into it. It's the first quarter of the year. Theory of evolution has to be rewritten again, once or twice a year, every year. Found a new human species, brand new. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range. You can go to secondamendmentarms.net, get more info. And make sure you check out their training. They have on and off-site training. And so I'm going to go ahead and I was handed this meme today by a coworker, and I'll show it to the camera here on the live stream, youtube.com/CaseyTheHost and twitch.tv/CaseyTheHost. Democrats claim DACA kids shouldn't have to pay for their parents' crimes, but white people are still responsible for 17th century slave owners. There's that meme right there, which is a pretty darned accurate meme, if you ask me. I thought that was pretty funny. And high-quality print, too. Always good, using not government, but company ink to make good memes. Back to the phone lines we go. Ben, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Hey, Casey, how are you?
I'm well, man. What's up?
Well, I wanted to chime in on this. I mean, I have a kid in Discovery. I have one that's gone through Discovery. Obviously, this is a pig ugly situation. I don't know why these two kids are still in that school. I have no clue on that. They're evidently psychopathic, whatevers. But, and there's a huge but, and this needs to go there before everyone just starts talking this school down. In all other respects, Discovery Middle School is a fantastic school.
Agreed.
It truly is a outstanding school on all levels. So, yes, this is a very ugly blot on their lapel. That all being said, that's all it is a blot on their lapel. I feel horrible for the kids that have been bullied by these two little snots, and I hope that they find themselves a nice, cozy, small room in Juby Hall.
Yep.
But the school itself should not be taken or thrown out with bathwater on this one.
I think that's a fair point, because Discovery is a good school. It does have a good reputation. And for the most part, the academic
product is very good. So, yeah, I would agree with you on that.
Okay, yeah, I mean, their academics are outstanding. They've been a Blue Ribbon School, which is a national award. They are a very, very, very good school.
Yep.
So I'm going to be the contrarian and defend them on this because everyone seems to be lining up to shoot it.
That's fair. That's perfectly fair. All right, Ben, appreciate it, bud. Thank you so much.
All
right,
Bye.
Take care. All right, we have Scott. You get the final word.
Hey, I don't know if this happens more or less than back in the day, but being that every person on the street has a video recorder in their back pocket, social media, we see it a lot. But what really, really disturbs me, and not to make light of this young man who's in the video, but the common thread in almost every video I see is people hooting and hollering in the background and cheering it on, like even cheering on the recording of it, not recording it like as if, okay, now we've got evidence to get the bully, but as if this can make me popular, I'm going to put it on my page and all that nonsense. And then the fact that normally when you see this, there's 5 or 10 or 20 bystanders, and none of them jump in. There's 2 kids in this bully, and there's about 10 kids that are there.
Well, yeah, and the kid who's assaulting the other one, I mean, he looks like he's maybe 55 pounds, and 50 of it is his hair. So it's, it wouldn't have taken much. And that was the thing, we kind of talked about this yesterday too, Scott, is that you don't have to jump in and assault the kid who's attacking. But there was enough people in there to go, all right, he's not fighting back, stop, it's enough. And just to get in between and just end it. And nobody did. But I think, go ahead.
Just to offer any kind of resistance whatsoever, even if it's a small person resisting a big person, very often the big person stops. But there's no resistance whatsoever with anybody. And I can remember in my lifetime, of course, I'm old school, I can remember jumping in situations where, I'm going to jump in here and I'm going to wind up on the losing end of this, but it's the right thing to do.
Sure. Absolutely. Yep. I agree with you. All right, man. Appreciate the call. Thank you much.
Bye.
We kind of addressed that a little bit yesterday, and just, this is how schools for decades now have I don't want to say brainwashed, that's not the right word, but this is how they've conditioned people. You go to school. I used to tell this to my family all the time. You go to school, because my family was always, somebody hit you, you hit them back. And that was just how we were. I think that's how most people are. And I used to tell them, well, yeah, we're going to get in trouble. I told you yesterday, there was a kid last year who was harassing the girls in the class and would kick them and things like that. And he harassed my daughter a couple of times. School wasn't doing much, and we love my daughter's school, and her teacher was amazing. Her teacher said, "Look, if she socks him, I'm not gonna punish her for it, But the teacher did what she was allowed to do within the confines of what the administration was going to allow her, and it got to the point where I was telling my daughter, "You can defend yourself. It's okay." She goes, "I don't want to get in trouble. I'm not going to get pink or purple that day in the color chart that they get to tell everybody if they had a good or bad day." So she was more concerned about getting in trouble in school than protecting herself or her friends. And that really irritated me. So now I've got to deprogram her of that. Meanwhile, she goes to school every day and the school reprograms her of the same thing. And, she's not old enough to know that dad's right and the school is insane. And it's going to take some time for that logic to seep through. But this is what schools do. And then what ends up happening is your entire life you're told, don't fight back, don't defend yourself, don't fight back, don't defend yourself. And then you're sitting on a subway car as somebody is being mugged and begging for you to help. You outnumber the mugger 8-1. You don't. Then the mugger decides to turn into a murderer, pulls out a knife and stabs somebody 20, 30 times. You don't do anything to help. And then the mugger turns around and robs all of you too. And that's a true story that happened in Washington, D.C. 2 years ago. I tell this story because I think it's a wonderful example of, as a society, how we just freeze and we don't do the right thing. And it's, I think, in large part because from a very young age in the public educational system, we have been conditioned not to. And we get to the point where we're adults and, oh, no, we just don't jump in. We're told to record stuff. That's what we're told to do. And sometimes it's to gather information. Sometimes it's to go ahead and get clicks and things like that on our social media. But that's just how we've been conditioned now. And so you run into it far more frequently than you used to. And I think it's a sad commentary, but it is a true commentary nonetheless. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. More coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Alrighty.
God. No, when I was in school, these restaurant fights never made the news.
No, I mean they did, and
well, and I hear my daughter went to Discovery, and I don't think she. I mean, it was a normal middle school experience, I think, for her. I mean, obviously the spotlight's on bullying now. I wish it was on. I wish it was the spotlight back when I was going to school.
Sure.
I was bullied every day of my life. I was small, unathletic, scrawny for my age. It was horrible. You know, not a fun time.
Sure.
But, you know, I mean, part of it's normal because.
Well, you're always going to have that, and that's what was. You know, I just posted this because it was video and it was a local story, and then somebody was like, "Hey, that kid's autistic."
That's well,
and then I was like, "Really?"
Yeah.
And I was like, "Well, I'm hearing that," and then the letter came out, so now I've got to correct that. But then we find out that they're repeat offenders.
Came out that said it was a general education student. That doesn't.
So he could be right. He could be, but they seem to be going after internet rumors.
Right.
So
yes, and that I understand. I think the big difference is that there's a bunch of moms who saw what happens during school fights now. That's the difference.
I would agree with that.
Mothers are seeing what's happening.
I would agree with that.
And fathers. But, I mean, to me, I've seen that fight in person at least 10 times between middle school and high school. And, you know, in this whole nobody stopped it.
Well, nobody ever does.
Well, nobody ever does. Right. And back in the day, in 1985, before cell phones, nobody ever stopped hallway fights or bathroom fights until the teacher showed up. And then the teacher usually got slugged in the middle of it, and eventually it ended. But, I mean...
Well, no, I think a lot of it is that you now see it, and then people who never really experienced that are horrified by it. But then with the added element that, hey, these kids keep doing this, and it's not being handled, I think that's now what's kind of taken over with the other stuff. But I agree with you in general.
I don't like using the term Granger moms, because I think Granger moms get a bad rap in a lot of ways, but I know.
Granger mom.
I live with a Granger mom. But it's like, this is not new.
Some of my best drug dealers are Granger moms, so you're not going to find me.
I'm not trashing Granger. I'm married to a Granger mom. What I'm saying is that this is not new. It may be new to them, but it's not new in the reality of life, and it's not new to your children who go to school every day.
Correct. I would agree with that. Yes.
I mean, I don't know.
Take karate, fools, somebody says.
It's a spectacle.
Yes.
That's why it makes the news, because there's video of it.
Yeah. And then, like I said, you find out the repeat offenders, and then
weapons involved.
And then the principal foolhardily lied in her letter.
I don't know. I
why?
can't comment towards that. I don't know if they lied or didn't lie.
But she says that they intervened.
I know,
but they didn't.
I know, but I don't know.
It was silly.
I wasn't there. I have no clue, so I'm not going to comment on that. But I mean, other than the fact that there's video of it, I don't understand exactly why this makes big headlines like it does. Other than a bunch of moms are upset because they're now witness to this, thanks to technology, but were there weapons involved? Were there?
John the sexist.
No, I'm not being sexist.
It's all about the Granger moms.
I could say
it's all about women's
dads.
feelings.
No, my God, stop it. Stop it. And I already prefaced this entire conversation by saying I'm not going after Granger.
How do you know if somebody's a racist? The first thing they tell you is they're not a racist.
My wife texted me about this yesterday. She's like, "Did you hear about Discovery Middle School?"
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Yes, I did." Yeah. And she's like, "Well, isn't that horrifying?" And I'm like, "Well, you know, having gone through middle school and been in a boys' bathroom in middle school, no. I mean, yeah.
When I tell
it's
this,
horrifying that it happens, but it's not shocking that it happens.
And when I tell the story of like when Columbine happened and all of us were looking around going, "What's the big deal?" Because
Columbine was a big deal.
But see, for us, it wasn't.
For who? When you say
in the Clark County School District, it wasn't a big deal. Now, when you get older, you realize, it's a single event and everything. Because people got stabbed and shot in school every day where we were. So we were like, okay, this happens all the time. Again, you get older and you realize, the scope of it and all that stuff.
To me, Columbine was the first big school shooting.
It was.
Now it's not the biggest anymore.
But we were a very violent school district. So for us, it was...
It's conditioning. It's how
you condition. It was very different for us. We didn't understand why everybody was so up in arms about it.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. By the way, just a friendly reminder, did get some listeners going, yeah, northbound 933 stinks. It's down to one lane in Roseland for that construction. So, again, get used to the construction projects. It's finally warmish type weather, although this week is being a little indecisive. And so you will have some of those delays just playing around them. All right, so a couple of text messages, and then we'll get out of this thing. And John and I were just talking during the break, and of course, this is that extra content you get when you watch the live stream. So if you go to youtube.com/Casey the host or twitch.tv/Casey the host, John is pointing out that basically we've got a bunch of people now, because there's video. We didn't have video when we were kids, that they now see the video, and so it becomes a story because you now have content. But this is nothing new. It's nothing unusual, and I think to a great extent he's right. Now, I think what made this a story initially was there was the rumor that the kid being attacked was autistic, and that was a big deal. That appears to not be true, although we don't really have confirmation either way. But it appears that the letter that the principal sent out seems to try to squash some internet rumors. So that seems to be what she was alluding to. The other aspect of it is, now that we have found out that these are repeat offenders and the school is not dealing with it, that's what's got people upset, hence the walkout on Friday and things like that. But in general, yeah, this is locker room stuff. It does happen fairly commonly. Of course, a bunch of people have sent texts and stuff too. Like when I got beat up, it wasn't news. And it's like because there wasn't cell phone footage of it. You've heard me tell the story too. I've talked about this. When I was young and Columbine happened, we in my school district didn't really understand why it was such a big story, because there was lots of shootings, lots of stabbings, lots of people who got seriously hurt. I've told the story. The guy basically had to have his arm completely reconstructed because he got thrown through the glass of the hallway of my school during a fight. So, and again, when you're older, you realize the actual scope of what happened with Columbine. But when you're that age, you're like, violence happens here all the time. Why is this such a story? So some of it's conditioning. Some of it's just new technology. Some of it is people who have never been exposed to that in their past now seeing it for the first time. And it's never pleasant watching somebody get assaulted. It's not pretty to look at. We talk about when people resist police officers, and it always looks bad. And what do people do? They jump on the officers and go, why did it have to be so rough? Well, because it's not a fluffy song and dance tune when you're taking somebody down. It's always ugly and messy and nasty. And yeah, we could try and sneak one in if you want, John. So you're going to have that. And some people have never seen that before, and they see this, and it's they're kids, they're not professional athletes, and it bothers them. And I can understand that too. 574-2595-95.3. Jack, welcome to the program. Hello, Jack.
Yeah, I'm here.
All right, what's up?
Well, I just wanted to take this one step further.
All right, I think we lost Jack. Hey, Jack, if you can hear me.
Because I can tell you from it. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, you just crackled all up. You came back. Okay. We can hear you now, but you kind of disappeared on us there. Okay, so start over for me.
This school situation, I just want to go one step further, because I can tell you from experience. Your kid is the one who's doing the bullying, so he comes home and you discipline him. And because you discipline him, he calls Child Protective Services, and the police show up at your door.
Yeah.
So, in my opinion,
it can happen that way. Sure.
I know. The children have way too much. Child Protective Services protect the child, and you can't even discipline your children anymore.
And sometimes it goes the other way. Maybe the kid is being over-disciplined at home, and now he's taking it out on everybody around him.
Absolutely, too. Yeah. I mean, on both sides of it. But,
sure.
When I grew up in my day and time, obviously I was disciplined by my parents and probably deserved some of it. But, nowadays you can't. You get in trouble for grabbing a kid if you take a video game away from them. And it's just, kids have...
We've done those stories. Yep. We have done those stories. Yep. Absolutely.
Unfortunate.
Yep. All right, Jack. Appreciate it. Thank you much.
Yep,
like I said, one of my favorite stories, which I hate, but it's, one of my favorite stories to tell, is the dad who made his kid exercise. He had to wake up early and exercise because the kid's grades were bad. And the police chief showed up at his house, arrested the dad, then held a big giant press conference and talked about how horrible the dad was for doing this and how he was abusive to his kid for making his kid exercise. And we're not talking like he was exercising him to death. I mean, he was just making him do normal exercises. And he made sure he was hydrated. He made sure he didn't get overheated. He was taken care of. I mean, it was just, when you start exercising for extended periods of time, it's not fun. You ask anybody who's been in the military or anybody who's gone through the police academy, they will tell you this. It's not pleasant, and it can change your attitude pretty darn quick. Plus, it gets excess energy out. So you're a little bit more complacent and willing to listen when your superior, if you will, is having a conversation with you about what you should and should not be doing. So, we don't know the full situation about what is causing this in these kids' lives. We have no idea. But what we do know is that the repeat offenders, they got a 3-day suspension, which I think most people seem to understand as that is way, way too little for repeat offenders doing what we saw in that video. And that's leading to some parents and students organizing potentially a walkout on Friday to go and address the situation. And it's up to the faculty now to respond to that in a way that will be well received. And if they do, great. If they don't, then, who knows? All right. Watch the live stream. Go to youtube.com/Casey the host. Again, youtube.com/Casey the host or twitch.tv/Casey the host. We have more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTR and HD1, Niles, South Bend, Elkhart.
News Talk 95.3.
Yeah, there was one guy that was making him run to school.
Right now.
There was another guy that was making him dig holes. So we've had a couple of those stories. With students leaving SB at Elkhart schools for Penn and Mishawaka, you'd think they would set a precedent. Yeah, maybe. Casey, as a parent, pay a sophomore to beat up the middle school kid. What was... It was American Dad. American Dad had something like that, where the dad was bullying his son to toughen him up, and then his son took his money and hired a bodyguard who then bullied his dad. And it was kind of an interesting take on everything. Yeah, we didn't play the footage on the live stream. It's on my Facebook at facebook.com/Casey the host. It's all over, obviously, but yeah, we can't play it on radio.
Temperatures in the 40s, a surge in temperatures tomorrow. A sudden warm 30s to the low 70s by Thursday evening.
That's unfortunate, Roland.
And thunderstorms Thursday night. In the ABC 57 first.
So, Dan, you showed it to your daughter. What did she say?
Quiet and cloudy overnight with temperatures settling into the upper 30s. A sudden warm up on Thursday. Strong storm system will...
Roland, if it's paused, just hit refresh on your browser, man. It should work. Sometimes it sticks on you.
Into the upper 30s. Strong storm system will bring wind gusts topping 30 miles per hour and highs nearing 70s by the late afternoon and evening. Thunderstorms are then likely Thursday night. Temperatures will fall.
All right, I'm going to pull this Candace Owens thing up. Play it for everybody.
Likely Thursday night. In the ABC 57 first warning, some drizzle.
Grab my sheet.
Some drizzle lasts through the evening.
Since we got Candace coming to town.
Cloudy overnight with temperatures settling into the upper 30s. Otherwise, just quiet and cloudy overnight with temperatures settling into the upper 30s. Strong storm system will bring wind gusts topping 50 miles per hour. And closures will be in place Sunday for the event. The event will also be streamed live on PeteForAmerica.com, Facebook, and on YouTube with the remarks beginning around 1:45 p.m. Evening, quiet and cloudy overnight with temperatures settling into the across the country. 95.3 MNC's Tommy Lee reporting.
Right.
We'll
What do we have
live
here?
on Sunday right here on 95.3 MNC. As many as 11,000 chicks died in a massive fire near Millersburg. The blaze broke out early last
Would you
night
cue my
at
audio
Duck Farm,
so I can screen this?
15,000 block of County Road.
I think you've caused my friends on the left to go to their safe spaces and not Democrat Party.
Okay. Alrighty. I'm going to go warm up my coffee. So I'm going to play a little commercial. I will be right back in about 1 or 2 minutes.
Progress in the field.
think anything illegal.
Locally raised meats, made to order American classics.
That was an actual question when recreational goes on sale in Michigan. Will we start carrying those commercials? Somebody was asking. I was like, I think so.
Yeah, why wouldn't we?
Just a short drive.
Casey, would you endorse one? I'm endorsing it right now.
And we are open to the public.
Casey's Highway Report.
Make American food great again.
No one likes a smoke alarm ringing
Oh,
in the middle
man.
of the night, but neither do they when they awaken by snoring. Snoring is just like a smoke alarm.
Wasn't that Air America? Was it Air America where they went to the highway report and he was talking about pot? They go, I guess that's why they call them highways. I want to say it was Air America, but I don't know if it fits.
It's not a big Air American fan, believe it or not.
The movie? You didn't like the movie?
Oh, I thought you meant the radio.
No. Nobody was a fan of the radio network. That's why they folded. No, the movie with Mel Gibson and Robert Downey Jr.
Never saw it.
Really?
Really?
Oh, it was a great movie.
I haven't seen most movies.
That was a fantastic movie.
I have seen Pearl Harbor.
Which can save you money.
Jack, hold on, Jack.
With
Pearl
our
Harbor.
exclusive
Or no, that was the.
Was that Titanic?
Titanic. I've seen Titanic too. I've seen Pearl Harbor and
With a
Titanic.
rate shield approval, if rates go up, your low rate stays low. But if rates
Pearl Harbor's where.
You really just did that?
Well, I saw 2 movies in the 90s. Pearl Harbor and Titanic. I saw the Brady Bunch movie too.
Oh my God. The Brady Bunch movie. I've never really seen that.
Pearl Harbor and Titanic, they were both epic films and they were both love stories. So.
Okay.
Come on.
I haven't seen Pearl Harbor in forever.
Yeah, it's a love story. It's a glorified love story with a little bit of war action in it.
Okay.
A little bit of Top Gun and a lot of soapy love stuff.
A little bit Top Gun. Later, Tracy.
A little bit of Top Gun, a lot of soapy love stuff.
Casey, you should do a weed of the week like you do with the beer of the week. Hey, man, I'm not against it if I end up living on the Michigan side of the border. If I end up on the Indiana side of the border, I can't. All right, here we go. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. You can watch the live stream if you want. Again, we have interesting conversations that happen up there. It looks like there's a debate about weather manipulation happening between a few people. And of course, we're talking about various other things as well during the commercial break. So go to youtube.com/Casey the host or twitch.tv/Casey the host. Make sure you subscribe to my YouTube channel or follow me on Twitch if you watch on either one of those platforms. Please, I do appreciate it. I also want to thank our sponsors, Second Amendment Arms and Range, located in New Carlisle. Second Amendment Arms has 10 dedicated shooting lanes, rifle and pistol. They're indoors, they're climate controlled, so you're able to go ahead and not have to worry about the inclement weather. Right now, weather's not so bad, but when it's snowing outside or it's 100 degrees, then obviously you don't want to necessarily be outside. So you can be indoors and comfortable. And they do have rentals. People keep asking me, can I rent an AR there and shoot one? Yes, you can. So if you are a local media journalist and you would like to actually know what it's like to fire a gun, you can go to Second Amendment Arms and Range. Just mention me, you'll get to do it for half off. So your manager will be happy that you're spending so little to learn how to fire a firearm. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information about that. Although I think her name is Carla Rodriguez over at ABC 57. I've totally turned her into a shooter, John. Turned her into a shooter. She had that one day at the lane with the St. Joseph County Police when they got their new guns. And so I hit her up and I said, you interested in learning more? And she's all about it. So we're going to try and get her in a basic pistol course and then maybe potentially get her with a department yet to be named where she can actually go through one of the training courses with officers. How cool would that be? So she's pretty excited about that. All right. Candace Owens. Candace Owens is coming to town. I may or may not be involved in the event as the host for the 2019 Lincoln Day dinner. What? It's just a figure of speech, John. Of course, I'm the host. Jeez. Relax. It's okay. They know I'm going to be there. Tuesday, April 23rd at the Holiday Inn Conference Center in Mishawaka. Candace Owens will be the keynote speaker.
And she had a very interesting exchange with Representative Ken Buck. He's a Republican of Colorado. And this happened, let's see what today's Wednesday. This happened yesterday. And so it was really interesting. Now, again, she's with Turning Point USA. She's also the founder of Blexit. And Buck, he started talking about the letter, the memo, if you will, that goes around to the members of the committee about various things that are going to be discussed in the committee. And he was pointing out some of the things that they were saying about Candace. And then he just started talking to Candace about various things. And her response has kind of gone viral. So I would like to just play it for you. It's a little bit longer audio than I usually play, but it's, I think, poignant nonetheless, especially since she is coming to town in just a couple of weeks. So here's Candace Owens. And again, she's talking to Representative Ken Buck. He's a Republican from Colorado.
I think you've caused my friends on the left to go to their safe spaces, and I'd love to explore with you a little bit of the reason for that. Do you consider yourself a conservative?
I am a conservative, yes. Okay.
Are you pro-life?
I am pro-life.
Okay. Does that trigger people when you see them, that they know that you're pro-life?
It makes them very upset, and Democrats hate me.
Do you own a gun?
Pardon?
Do you own a gun?
No, sir.
When next time you come to Colorado, we'll take you shooting. Are you a Christian?
Yes, I am.
Are you proud of your family?
I'm very proud of my family.
Okay. Let me ask you something. Do you hate Americans with black skin color?
Absolutely not. I actually love Americans with black skin color so much that I'm willing to fall on the sword 1,000 times for them to wake up and realize that we are being lied to, abused, and used by the Democrat Party.
How about Americans with white skin color? Do you hate them?
I do not, and that's a problem for people on the left.
Do you hate Hispanics?
I do not.
Do you hate Asians?
I do not.
Do you hate lesbians or gays or anybody from the LGBTQ community?
Nope, I've got all of that in my family.
I'm baffled because in the chairman's opening statement, he said that you openly associate with purveyors of hate.
Yes, purveyors of hate, by his definition, is anybody that supports the president. I support the president because he's done a tremendous job in helping the black community, despite all of the rhetoric from the media and leftists, who do not want him to be successful.
Tell me a little bit about how the president has helped the black community, if you would, please.
Well, he's lowered the black unemployment rate. It's the lowest it's ever been in the history. He's getting us off of our feet. We see, I believe the last number I checked was 3.5 million people are off of food stamps, something that the Black Caucus sat down and didn't applaud. Neither did any of the Democrats applaud, because they want a system where blacks are dependent on the government. They are people that put in place the policies that broke down the black family. And the biggest problem that's facing our community is father absence. In every room that I've been in with the president, he talks about real issues, and he doesn't pander to us. He doesn't do Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's Southern drawl accent and speaking to us like we're slaves. He asks us important questions. And the most important question he could have asked was, Black America, what do you have to lose? Because we were already losing under Democrat leadership.
Do you believe that you openly associate with purveyors of hate?
I absolutely do not. I have no tolerance for hate whatsoever.
Do you believe that college campuses should be open discussions, or there should be open discussions on college campuses for various issues?
I absolutely do. You know, I do a campus tour tonight. I'm flying up to University of Connecticut to continue that, and we are being met with aggressive leftist groups. 3 Antifa chapters have declared they're going to try to shut it down, and we face this violence every day on the left, and nobody ever wants to talk about it.
And I guess what I was going to ask you, you went on to explain it before I got a chance to, but have you ever been disinvited from speech opportunities at college campuses because of your conservative views?
All the time.
Is that a form of hatred, do you think?
Of course it is, and we're not talking enough about political hatred in this country. We're not talking enough about conservative activists being attacked, like myself. We had a student whose dorm was set on fire for being a member of the Turning Point chapter, and all we preach is for free markets and capitalism as a means to lift the most people out of poverty. That is my belief. And of course, my main thesis is that Black people do not have to be Democrats, and we are not owned by the left. And I understand that causes some people trouble.
So as a conservative, you've attended many conservative events and visited with many conservatives. And I am not denying for a moment that there are white supremacists and we should condemn white supremacists, that there are Nazis and we should condemn Nazis, that there are hateful groups all across the political spectrum and we should condemn those. But in your interactions with conservatives, have you seen hateful speech, bigotry, race among the conservatives that you've associated with?
I speak in front of conservatives probably 3 times a week. I jump on a stage and I say everything pro-Black, and they are so supportive and they applaud. All they want is for Black Americans to realize that they are Americans first and foremost. Conservatives are patriots. The president is a patriot, and I'm a patriot, and there is no skin color in patriotism.
Thank God we have you. Thank you very much.
So that was the bit that went viral here this last week. Actually, that was yesterday. And again, that's Representative Ken Buck. He's a Republican from Colorado, talking with Candace Owens, who will be in town for the 2019 Lincoln Day dinner for the St. Joseph County Republican Party. I will be emceeing the event, but she is the keynote speaker. So Candace Owens, again, coming to our town. If you would like to get your tickets, go to GOPSJCIN.com, and you too can sit there and enjoy what Candace Owens has to say. They actually have some options for you to go ahead and have some meet and greets with Candace if you would like, and some other options as well. Of course, you can just attend the dinner and be a part of the audience, but if you want some of those upgraded opportunities, again, go to the website. The website, once again, is GOPSJCIN.com, the St. Joseph County Republican Party, and get tickets to the 2019 Lincoln Day dinner. Again, it is Tuesday, April 23rd, at the Holiday Inn Conference Center in Mishawaka. We got more coming up. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Michiana's news channel is everywhere. The top news and issues on Facebook and on Twitter.
You spent a whole hour on Discovery? Didn't think I was going to, but apparently. Yeah. Didn't think I was going to, but anything new come up? Or yeah, parents and students are organizing a potential walkout on Friday. That's all it was. That, and then the 2 attackers got 3-day suspension. I heard about 3 days. Yep, that was pretty much it. And then, people just wanted to talk about it. So I was planning on it being like a 10-minute thing, and it ended up being almost an hour. So there you go. Guess what? It's raining.
Also, what's going on?
What?
The sales pit lobby.
I don't know. What's going on? Oh, what's happening?
It's a party.
Oh, dude, it doesn't surprise me. They always throw parties and stuff and don't invite us. I haven't been invited to a party in this building in 5 years, dude. So, like, the first year I was here, they let me come. The second year they let me come, and they haven't invited me back since. So, which is some bull, because I'm the guy that showed them how to properly make punch. I'm just saying, when the 4-foot tall guy thinks that you spike the punch by going like that, and I have to take the bottle from him, no, just dump it in. The whole bottle. Get another bottle, bring another bottle. So it's not one of those things. It's not a, it's ratios, okay? This is math. It's ratios. You should know this. You don't spike the punch with half of a shot in a giant punch bowl. You need at least bottles, plural. Plural.
One part alcohol with choice.
No, you should have 2 bottles of alcohol for every 1 cup of punch. The punch is really just there as a transmission. Honestly, just have the bottles. Don't even have the punch. Punch is stupid.
What if you have people like me who are underage who come to the party, Casey?
Get your own damn stuff. We got Capri Sun boxes for you somewhere, I'm sure. We got a conference room. We do radiothons for kids and stuff. We got to have some juice around here. Yeah, Alex, the big switch lie, that was a good one too.
Surveys show that most American adults get an F in understanding income tax basics. And while investors are concerned about rising taxes, most aren't doing anything about it. Casey Weed, certified financial planner practitioner. When I got my start as a financial advisor, I was really just a trained salesperson. But I soon realized there aren't many guarantees in the financial world.
Did you see a picture of the black hole?
I haven't seen the picture yet.
John didn't even know what was happening. My news director didn't even know one of the most historic photos in all of human history just happened.
I saw the story on Froggy's Facebook page, but I didn't click on it.
It's the Eye of Sauron.
Does it look like it, or is it actually?
Probably. Both. Just saying. Just saying. Virginia is calling us.
Probably put him on, honestly.
Probably.
Michiana's news channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
Virginia. Oh God, I should call her that when I answer the phone. Are you on hold? It looked like he answered the call and then he was put on hold. Like it was a bill collector.
Like you said, it's kind of off topic, so I can't. But I can pass on the question to him to ask. Yep. No, it's Joe. No problem.
That will cover 100% your tuition costs. Learn more about Indiana's workforce readiness at next level.
Y'all are getting some deep conversation today on the live stream. Deep conversation. So what was off topic from Virginia?
Something about a lawsuit against Buttigieg.
A lawsuit against Buttigieg. A new one? Is there a new lawsuit, or is it just the police tape?
Filing a lawsuit.
Oh, she wants to file one against him? For what? What did he do?
I'm really sure.
I mean,
it was awesome.
John sure did get defensive around the airport.
Oh, did he?
Oh, my God. He's like, okay, so all those years ago, I stand by what I said back then, but there's been a lot of improvements down there. I'm like, it still looks like a dump. I'm sorry, it looks like a dump. Maybe it's improved, I don't know, but it still looks like a dump around the airport of South Bend to me. Just saying.
No, I don't. It's been a few years since I've been down.
A few years? Casey, have you ever seen the YouTube channel Suspicious Observers? Cool little daily space weathercast. No, I have not. Do they admit that the Earth is cubed? If they don't, I'm not interested.
I think it's a decahedron.
A dodecahedron! And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. Somebody sent me a text that Nadler looked like an old racist when he went after Candace. That is true. A lot of people have pointed that out. So, you know, you could play a lot from what she said yesterday. And a lot of people pointed out that the big switch, which is this concocted media lie that is not true, about how the Republicans and Democrats basically switched and the racist Republicans went south. And so now they're all the Confederate states and things like that, which is, of course, absurd. Totally debunked. It flies in the face of electoral history and everything else. But it's still perpetuated by people who frankly don't know anything. And it was actually on CBS News. The other day, CBS News ran a graphic where they used the current colors of blue and red, which, by the way, haven't been around for very long, okay? So blue and red were really a brand new thing. And they made the Confederate states red and the northern states blue, which should have been, the Union, which should have been flipped. But CBS, this is all that psychological warfare garbage that they play with everybody. Of course, they ignored all of the black Republicans from the South who were elected to Congress after the Civil War, during Reconstruction and everything else. They just ignore all of that and they just pretend it never happened. But it was, so people pointed out that her sound bites talking about the big switch and debunking it were really good as well. She had a lot of great things. Obviously, we can't play all of her testimony on there, but I like that one in particular because it addressed the cultural attitudes. So we also have, if we're going to talk about race issues, we also have this Ohio representative. A state representative proposed an amendment to Ohio's heartbeat bill. Now, the heartbeat bill is essentially, once you have a heartbeat, you're a human being. Okay, so once we can detect that heartbeat, you're alive, you're human, you're entitled to those protections. So a state representative proposed an amendment to Ohio's heartbeat bill that seeks an exemption for African American women. So you're a human being if we can detect your heart, unless you're black.
I'm going to say this again. A state representative proposed an amendment to Ohio's heartbeat bill that seeks an exemption for African American women. So again, the whole point of the bill is we can detect a human heart. You're a human being. You are entitled to all of those protections. So you're a human being if we can detect a heart, unless you're black. Now, the reason for this proposal was historic rape and forced birth imposed on enslaved women. Democratic State Representative, I am shocked that it's a Democrat who did this. Democratic State Representative Janine R. Boyd proposed the amendment to a state House committee on Tuesday after the Ohio Senate passed Heartbeat Bill SB 23, banning abortions after a fetal heartbeat is detected, according to the Hill. A heartbeat usually becomes detectable between 6 and 9 weeks in pregnancy. Many women do not know that they're pregnant at 6 weeks. The bill advanced through the Ohio House Committee on Tuesday and will likely be signed into law by Ohio Governor Mike DeWine if it passes the full House. The measure will not only bar women from having an abortion once a fetal heartbeat is detected, but will also fine physicians who violate the law up to $20,000. During a hearing on the bill Tuesday, Democratic State Representative Boyd proposed an amendment allowing the exemption of African American women. Boyd says their history includes rape and forced birth imposed on enslaved women and black women after slavery. Okay, what does that have to do with this? Once again, I'm forced to point out the obvious here. Isn't it interesting that the Planned Parenthood acolytes out there will tell you that people who are pro-life are racist, yet the people who are pro-life are fighting to save predominantly minority babies, because that's predominantly who gets aborted in the United States. So why are the white supremacists running around trying to save minority babies? And why is it that the people who are against white supremacy running around trying to find ways to kill them? I mean, it's pretty interesting stuff, don't you think? Especially considering the history of Margaret Sanger. Because Planned Parenthood, and of course the history of that, getting started to control the population of black Americans. But it's okay. You know, she says she changed her mind later on in life and that sort of thing. It's just her project continued to live on. I consider the slave trade and how black slaves were once treated like cattle and put out to stud in order to create generations of more slaves, she said on Tuesday. I consider how many masters raped their slaves. I consider how many masters forced their slaves to have abortions. And I consider how many pregnant slaves self-induced abortions so that they could not contribute children when they had this slave system. So at least she's acknowledging that they don't have it anymore. And so I ask you, with all of your values, to consider that and vote yes to this amendment. Huh? So in your comments, you have acknowledged that we don't have this slave system anymore, yet you're asking for people to say that if we can detect a human heartbeat, it's a human being unless it's black. Why? Because of slavery? I am as confused as you all are. I'm perplexed by it, but go figure. The committee rejected the amendment 11-7. 7 people thought this was worthwhile, whether it was a political stratagem or they actually bought into it. I don't know. Every human being is valuable regardless of the color of skin, his or her skin, I should say. To suggest that only black babies should be killed in Ohio is shocking racism, not befitting of a representative of the Ohio House. Created equal president Mark Harrington said in a press release. He pushed back against the proposal, and I like the way that he phrased it. It's shocking racism. She's not a pasty white woman. Okay, I'll leave it at that. But it's still interesting that she would propose such a thing. Created Equal is a national pro-life organization dedicated to equality for all people, according to its website. Now, remember, if you go back to 2015 is, I think, the latest that we have a full set of data for. We might have some since then, but roughly 40% or so of all abortions are Black women. And you will find there's a large pro-life element in the Black community, and they frequently will cite that there would be way more Black people alive today, and they would have more influence today in politics and economics and everything else if they were not targeted for abortion. And if you look at where the abortion clinics go, where do they go? Predominantly Black neighborhoods. It's like I said, but it's kind of weird. The white supremacists are out there trying to save those babies. But the people who are not white supremacists are actively pursuing ways to make it easier and sometimes exclusive for those babies to be killed. It's a very bizarro time, ladies and gentlemen. MNC News Time is 4:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station.
Well, that's a shitty picture.
Huh? What? There it is! It's the Eye of Sauron. Okay, now, before you comment about the crappy picture, let me explain why it's a crappy picture, okay? Because I read it too, because I was like, it could have been a better shot. Apparently, you need the ability to take a photograph, because you have to be so far away from it. You need the ability to take a photograph of a bagel on the moon. So, that's the power that you need to even capture that image. You need to be able to take a photo of a bagel on the moon to even be able to get
like from Earth.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's why they needed 8 telescopes or whatever that they were doing. Yeah, it's like a whole network that they had. So they had to pull the collective processing power of all of them into one network to even be able to get that shot. Yeah. That's how hard the shot is.
Like black holes are all like strong enough that light can't escape them. And
right.
Photos operate.
You have to capture the circle of the material that is in orbit. Right.
Get too close. It's going to.
Correct. Yep. Because that was the first thing that I thought. I was like, that's a little fuzzy. I was like, I expected better. But then I read and they were explaining like why it was.
I'm sure there are scientists going.
Yes! Well, one of the ladies who was a part of the project, she saw the photo for the first time at the unveiling, and she started crying.
I believe it.
Yeah. So she's like, she was saying she goes, we all work on black holes all the time. That's our job, and sometimes you forget that none of us have actually ever seen one. So,
I mean, technically, we don't know what it looks like because.
Well, we still don't know what's in the middle. Yeah, we just know that the event horizon is pitch black, but we don't know what's in the event horizon.
We can because we don't.
Alex Flat Earther, the picture is clearly a crappy Photoshop.
I mean, that's what it looks like.
I mean, kind of, but I mean, if they were gonna fake the photo, wouldn't they have done a better job?
You would think, right? You would think.
I'm just saying. So one of the Flat Earthers, I forgot to tell you all this. One of the Flat Earthers sent me a picture of one of the weather balloon shots. And it was Piggy something or other. Little Piggy. It was the Little Piggy weather balloon, which has been debunked a million times anyway. And it's just a picture, right? It's not the video. Now, you know why they don't send the video? Because when you send the video, Little Piggy shows the curvature of the Earth. Both going up and when it pops and starts coming down. And they go, no fisheye lens or anything else. Oh, actually, it was a fisheye lens, but I digress. But they sent it, and so me just being the dick that I am, they sent the picture, which, of course, is totally manipulated to be a flat horizon, and I said, it's Photoshop. I just texted it back, and he's like, 2 seconds of research would prove that wrong. I'm like, no, it's the opposite is true, but, he didn't even understand that I was giving him a taste of his own medicine, because that was one of the callers that I brought up multiple points to him. He's like, oh, that's fake. Oh, that's bull. Oh, no, it's all manipulated. I'm like, that's all you do, is you say that everything that we see is just manipulated and fake. So everything you give me, I'm just going to say the same thing. Get it? So we don't actually get anywhere from that. But it's basic optics. And I love watching these people argue about fisheye lenses as if they know what a fisheye lens does. But they clearly don't. But the Earth has a basement. So was it you, Comet, that said that the other day? It's like, I can't believe I learned that the Earth has a basement today. That was a good comment. So where do we get the gas for the furnace in the basement to warm this bitch up? Because I'm tired of the weather being like all cold and stuff. I want to be on the motorcycle.
You could have rode it today, but now it's raining.
I had to take my daughter to school. So
just give her a helmet, put her on the back.
I don't have pegs, and I don't have a rider's seat. Don't have a helmet for her either.
You're a shitty father, Casey.
Part of it is my wife would freak if I put her on that bike. She wants on that bike. When I got that bike and I started it up on that first warm day and I had to jump start it because it's sitting all winter, my daughter was like, can we go on the bike? Can we go on the... My wife was like, no, you can't go. She got so mad and so upset that she couldn't ride the motorcycle with me. So then she just wanted to see me ride the motorcycle. What's up, Get Her Done 58? And your weird pasty white man mask. You see that emoji? No. That's some creepy Jason emoji right there. I want to see the furnace. If there's a basement, it's got to have a furnace. What if all of the natural gas that we're taking out of the earth via fracking and everything is taking away the gas that heats the furnace and is causing global cooling? Earth's furnace in the basement doesn't have enough gas. They're going to turn the gas off. Then you're going to have a tech come out. He's going to have to drill down into the center of the earth. He's going to have to light the flame again. It's going to be a whole thing. And you know how long it takes for them to schedule those appointments to get the gas turned back on? It's a pain in the butt. Is there a like in Twitch?
No.
No. You can just follow me.
Since he doesn't have affiliate status.
Yeah, I have the affiliate status, but I've not set up the banking stuff. So technically, you could give me like bits or something. Whatever that means. But apparently I get money.
It's like roughly 1 bit equals 1 cent.
Cool, you can give me a penny. But I tried to do the banking stuff today. I filled out all the tax stuff, and because it didn't match up with the physical address records because I'm homeless, I tried to put in my work address. I was like, otherwise they're going to mail stuff to like a house that I'm not going to be living in 3 weeks.
Oh, yeah.
They said, that does not match our records for you. I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm not getting any bits anytime soon then. We got to wait till we get to the new house, wherever that ends up being.
So the closest thing, yeah, that is like, you could subscribe to him and everything, but it's all money stuff.
Right.
And bits and everything.
Just follow me and hang out, man. That's all you got to do.
I don't think you have to have Prime to do bits. You have to have Prime to subscribe.
To subscribe, yes.
Bits is...
Can you subscribe to me right now, or do I have to be partner? Can you subscribe to an affiliate, or do you have to be partner for that?
You should be.
I don't know. Just follow me, dude. Just follow me. Hit me up a friend request if you want. I don't care. It's cool. I'll play games, too, when I get my internet back on. The place I'm staying in is temporary, and because it sat vacant for 10 years before the guy that I know bought it, they want to send a technician out to get the internet up and running, and it's $70, and I'm like, I'm only going to be here for a few weeks. I'm not going to do that.
It takes a little bit of getting used to.
Yeah, Twitch is a really good platform. The problem for me, I think, is that Twitch is really, really busy. There's a lot going on, and when you're new, it takes a while to kind of get comfortable with everything. There's just so many things happening at once.
Yeah.
As long as you're following, we're good.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right. What do we have here? Oh, if you would like to shoot your boomstick better than you shot your boomstick before, go to Second Amendment Arms and Range. They have on and off-site training. Of course, if you mention me, you get half off your range time. Go to secondamendmentarms.net. Oh, Bibi won his re-election in Israel. Was it fourth term? I think it's his fourth term. So Netanyahu wins his fourth. I think it's his fourth term. Almost positive it's his fourth term. Now, what was interesting about this is that the New York Times ran an article and they said they were basically saying that this was like a bad day for him. I'm like, he just won again. Like, only American media can say after you win, you lose. I mean, and then after you lose, you win. I mean, how many times have they said that about prominent Democrats who lost elections? It was really a win for them. No, it wasn't. They lost. It's so he won. People are really upset about it. A bunch of celebrities lost their minds. A bunch of celebrities, mind you, who have never been to Israel, lost their minds about Netanyahu, and they don't even know why they hate the guy. There's clearly a reason that he keeps winning these elections. Look, I mean, as time goes on, people will want change. And the fact that he keeps winning, considering the relative nature of everything that happens in Israel, the fact that he keeps winning actually is a testament to how popular he is, because people get very bored with their leadership, and in free societies, they tend to want to switch things up, and they don't ever get rid of this guy. They tend to like him there. So even if he has a close election, which apparently this was close by Israeli standards, people run around and say, "Oh well, he really lost because he didn't win by as wide of a margin as he." No, he still won though. He still won. You can stop that for now. In fact, right after he won, did you hear that Airbnb reversed their decision on West Bank listings? So Airbnb reversed the controversial ban on listings in Israeli West Bank settlements on Tuesday night, ending a 5-month dispute over the legality of the measure. The online hospitality service announced this decision in a blog post on its website and said that it will be donating profits generated from the 200-plus West Bank listings to nonprofit organizations dedicated to humanitarian aid. And I'm sure all of those organizations will be dedicated to humanitarian aid of all peoples and not just Hamas terrorists. Airbnb will not move forward with implementing the removal of listings in the West Bank from the platform. For the record, maybe this is just my ignorance of the country because I've not been to Israel yet. I came really close to going this last year and just didn't make it happen. I'm not so sure if I went to Israel, I would be renting a place in the West Bank. Maybe it's my white American guy privilege. I don't know. Not exactly sure that would be the place that I would want to rent. But if you have a nice pad in the West Bank and you want to go ahead and rent it out, I mean, why not? Some people like to live on the edge, you know? I like a nice, comfortable room, maybe some good cable television or something late at night after some fun at the bar or hanging out in the town. Some people like to dodge rockets. It's to each his own. Okay. Maybe in my younger years, that would have been me, but not now. Airbnb has never boycotted Israel, Israeli businesses, or the more than 20,000 Israeli hosts who are active on the Airbnb platform. They said, "We have always sought to bring people together and will continue to work with our community to achieve this goal." The reversal was mandated and part of a settlement with a pro-Israel law organization that sued the company over its West Bank ban. The lawsuit accused Airbnb of discrimination against listings posted by Jewish hosts, which probably wasn't fair. But See, this is the thing, all right? What ends up happening is you're a business and you're trying to stay out of a controversial dispute, which is who owns the West Bank, right? So you're trying to stay out of it. So you don't want to be a part of it. If you allow the listings, you're going to hear from all of the people out there who think that it's really a part of Palestine and all of this other stuff. And you're just trying to stay out of it. So what you end up doing is you end up injecting yourself in the fight and being a part of the fight and a central focal point of the fight, where both sides can now focus their energy, and all you were trying to do was stay the heck out of it, when really what should have happened is you just should have kept your mouth shut. So these companies have got to learn to navigate this stuff, and they also have to learn that the overwhelming majority of social media outrage when they're just doing normal business practices that happens are bots. They're not real people. They're not impactful. They're not serious. Most of them are run by a couple of dorks somewhere who are paid a lot of money to go ahead and run an internet campaign on you. There'll be 10,000 people out there trying to go ahead and boycott you and destroy your business and things like that. But it's really 3 individuals running 9,997 accounts. That's kind of what it is. Reuters is saying it says 5th term. All right, it's 5th term. Thank you for the correction. I appreciate that. Also want to remind everybody that traffic 33 northbound is backed up from the toll road all the way to Angela. Thank you, Jeff. We do appreciate that. So yeah, traffic construction, all of that. Avoid that stuff. Learn where they are in your normal route so you can avoid them for the rest of the forthcoming weeks, because it's been pretty bad with some of those construction areas, especially as you approach rush hour. And things are probably going to get a little bit worse here coming up about 5 o'clock or so. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3.
Stop giving away your secrets. Oh, crap. What did I do? What did I miss? I hate it when I say something and somebody's like, stop it. Damn it.
What makes us want to say?
I'm always just giving people secrets away. Bird and Lime scooters to leave Raleigh due to city regulations. Raleigh, North Carolina is getting rid of Lime scooters.
Oh no. This is so bad.
The percentage of Americans who understand that vaping is less dangerous than smoking continues to fall. That's media lies for you. That's what happens. Gerbles, gerbles, gerbles. Repeat the lie, it'll become the truth.
Finally stop seeing ugly truth ads about vaping being worse than smoking, or being just as bad as.
Okay, so Reason Magazine has now started a fake news video series on YouTube. Mm-hmm. And here's how it starts. Thanks to a generous grant from the Stanton Foundation. How the hell do I get these grants?
You apply for them.
I keep doing these things, and I'm just doing them on my own nickel and dime. I don't get any money from my company, investor.
At Bethel College, we recognize the busy demands on life and take an faith-based approach to personal growth. Bethel is where students realize that if your faith life.
Oh, the bots, gotcha. The bots.
Adults, finish your degree and earn your MBA while focused on your personal and spiritual growth at Bethel College. Start with a transfer-friendly approach.
Prosecutors charge a man for abandoning a pet fish before realizing that isn't illegal.
And save money. Add adult classes only 1 night a week and finish courses in only 7
All right, let's do that story.
Oh boy.
You have to. You've got to do that, right?
Next up, then we'll have live wrestlers.
Dude, that would be so funny. Honestly, that would be funny. They're the Lime scooters for those of you who like to sit down. Like the majority of us.
The call of the road is to take a ride on a modern legend. Get ready. Elkhart Indian Motorcycle is giving you a free lunch from Texas Roadhouse.
All right, so John is convinced that South Bend around the airport looks much better than it used to. I'm not so sure. Maybe it does look better, but it still doesn't look good. I think there's going to be a lot of people. Oh, here's a whole article, the Daily Caller, why these 2 Democratic candidates have been involved in bulldozing houses. So that's his 1,000 houses in 1,000 days thing. I forget what I was going to say.
I was going to tell the viewers about Thermodyne at the end of the break.
Hells yeah. Data bunker in the house.
Where it should be.
Yup. Although mine's in storage right now. I wanted to bring it with me, and it went in the wrong car. So I went to the storage. Okay, that's funny, but I am surprised that there hasn't been an Eye of Sauron. There has to have been.
There is.
There has to. That was the first thing that I thought of, and I haven't even seen all of the movies. Huh?
Actually, surprisingly.
You haven't seen them? Really?
No, they came
I think
out,
I saw the first two. I don't think I've seen the other
before
ones.
I started getting into fantasy stuff.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I don't.
And
How many have they made? 8? 6? 9?
There's the original trilogy, and then there's the Hobbit trilogy. 6.
I haven't seen any of the Hobbit.
And it's like 27 hours worth of footage.
Have you seen the original Hobbit? The animated one?
I have seen the animated one.
That's good
But
squish
I
right
was
there, dude.
young, and I think I was like 6 or 7, and
Man,
I don't remember.
I used to watch because I think they made 2
I
of
remember
those.
his finger getting bit off, and me being like, "What just happened?"
Yeah,
And
when
that's
I was a little kid, I was
all
all about that. I watched that a lot.
But that's all I remember from that show. From that movie.
Bendix Road still sucks. It's probably the coffee.
Right. Thermodyne.
Thermodyne. I got it right here, man.
Okay. Sometimes I tell you and you forget.
What?
Sometimes I tell you and you forget.
Oh, okay. Liar.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. That song, you may or may not have heard of it. Crazy Train, right? You know what trains have, Joe? What? What are you going to say?
Oh, I was going to say who the artist was. I was going to guess, take a random shot in the dark on the artist.
Oh.
But I'll go along with your bet.
Oh, okay. By the way, that's the Zakk Wylde version.
Oh,
Just so you know.
Then I was going to be wrong.
Well, I mean, it's still Ozzy, but the guitarist was Zakk Wylde on it.
It was written by Ozzy Osbourne and his gang.
Correct.
People.
But remember, 2 prominent guitarists for Ozzy.
True.
That was Zakk Wylde.
Okay.
People always ask me about, well, which guitarist? Is that one Zakk Wylde? I confirmed it.
Anyway, they have black boxes, Casey.
Yes, they have black boxes. Trains have black boxes. Do you know who makes black boxes for trains? I'll give you a hint. They're right here in Elkhart. They're a company called Thermodyne, and they have this amazing consumer. I shouldn't say consumer because it's used for government contracts as well, and it's also a corporate tool, but it is a scaled down version of the exact same black box that you find in trains in case there is a disaster, God forbid, and you're able to gather that information, and it is called a data bunker. And you can get your very own data bunker by going to databunker1, that's the number 1.com. Now, this thing is fireproof. It is hack-proof in that it does not connect to the internet, okay? Tornado-proof, crush-proof, water-resistant, and it has been nuclear tested. It survives EMP. It is made with clean electronics from the United States of America right here in Elkhart. And it is the best possible thing in the world for your critical documents. If you go to FEMA.gov, FEMA has a whole list of documents that you will need if a disaster strikes, okay? These are things that you will need to, 1, start rebuilding your life, but more importantly, 2, start getting aid and all of the aid that you need, okay? You'll be able to get your immediate stuff, blankets and some food and water and things like that, but all of the stuff that you need to start rebuilding your life and to have sustained efforts on your behalf, you need documents to prove who you are and prove that you are actually supposed to be receiving that aid. And most people in a disaster lose that stuff because the paperwork that they had in their basement gets destroyed, or perhaps they kept it on a thumb drive, they can't find it, or it's gone, or it's destroyed. Not a data bunker, okay? If your house burns down, you sift through the ashes, you pick up the data bunker, and you go plug it into a computer, and there's all of your birth certificates, there's your marriage certificates, there's all of your insurance information, everything right there, including perhaps some sentimental videos and photo, okay? But it's not designed to be an external hard drive, okay? That's not what it's for. It's there to protect your critical documents, not maintain your social media life, okay? Go to databunker1.com, use coupon code Casey, and you'll save 15%. You can pick your color. You can take a look at the tests that they do with this thing. It is TSA approved for travel, so if you are a business or a government contractor and you don't like sending things through email or in the cloud or in some kind of an online storage where they can be hacked, manipulated, or lost, use a data bunker, carry your proprietary technology or information that you need to keep secret safely and securely with you, and nobody at the TSA is going to bother you. Go to databunker1.com, coupon code Casey to save 15%. All right, here we go. We got to go down the rabbit hole on this one. I just found this story, so I am reading it for the first time with all of you. A North Carolina man who was evicted from his home last month is off the hook. It's about a fish. Off the hook. After neglecting to take care of his pet fish. A New Hanover County District Attorney's Office didn't drop animal cruelty charges against Michael Hinson because they realized treating a man like a criminal over a pet fish was ridiculous. Rather, authorities were forced to let Hinson off after realizing he hadn't actually broken any law. Wait a minute. You mean to tell me that prosecutors are supposed to know the law, right, Joe? Okay, generally. And if they don't, they can look it up, right? It's kind of their job. Yeah, there's usually more than one of them in the office, so yeah, they can confer with their peers, if you will. You mean to tell me that prosecutors in North Carolina thought that this dude abandoning his fish was breaking the law, and then they ended up finding out later that he didn't break the law, but they charged him anyway? Don't own a fish in North Carolina. He was evicted from his home March 22nd. The 53-year-old did not take his pet Oscar fish with him. I don't know how many of you have ever owned a fish. I own a fish. It is an absolute pain in the backside to move a fish. Okay? It sucks. And half the time they die anyway when you move them because they get all stressed. So mine's still hanging on. My fish, who was like twice his life expectancy, is still hanging on. I don't know how he's doing it. We didn't get any other fish because we thought he was going to die 5 years ago after every other fish that we had at the same time died. And he's just like still doing his thing. And so now we're like, do we get him a friend? We're like, no, because we'll get him a friend and then he'll die. I feel like he thrives being alone in this environment. But he's moved, and then we're going to have to move him again when we find a permanent place to live. But moving a fish is not easy. This is not an easy thing. So he didn't take his fish with him. So there was no one to feed it or provide fresh water. Several days later, cops showed up at the home and discovered the fish, which by that point was in poor health. The animal was taken to the fish room, a fish store in a nearby city. It came in with a disease, hole in the head, which is a parasite that is caused by poor water quality and malnutrition. Ethan Lane, a store employee, told the State. It was a pretty severe case of the disease, which opened sores and lesions on the fish's head. It is an infection that can be fatal. The fish, who is now recuperating, had been surviving on cockroaches that dropped into the tank. Okay, now if this fish had this, I have no reason to doubt what the person is saying. If the fish had this particular disease, it is not something that I would expect to have on set simply because this guy moved. So I would assume that this guy has been neglecting his fish. But, hey, good for the fish for eating the cockroaches that dropped into the tank so it could survive. That is a survivor right there, which is probably how he got the disease, by eating the cockroach, and, well, cockroaches are dirty. So Hinson, meanwhile, was arrested and faced 3 charges of misdemeanor animal cruelty and an additional charge of animal abandonment. This is a life just like any dog or cat, says New Hanover County Sheriff's Office spokesperson, Lieutenant Jerry Brewer. If you harm or neglect an animal in New Hanover County, we are coming for you. Well, actually, under state law, pet fish are not the same. The state statute that deals with animal cruelty defines animal as every living vertebrate in the classes amphibia, reptilia, aves, or aves, I don't know how to say that, mammalia, except human beings. Notably, none of those categories happen to include pet fish. Now, I'm not saying what this dude did was right, okay? I mean, what he did sucked. I wish he would have, just put a Craigslist ad out there to rehome the fish, but you can usually find homes for them fairly quickly. But you have the prosecutors, you got the police with this very stern sheriff, sheriff spokesman, I should say, is out there just reading what they're told to read, and they're out there, we're going to come for you if you abandon an animal. It's all a living life. And then it turns out, no, it's not. It's not considered the same under the law. Morally, I get it. But as far as the the legal equivalence, that doesn't exist. Ultimately, it's a good thing that he won't face criminal charges for neglecting his pet fish. This is not to downplay the fish's worth or the value of its life. Hopefully, it will continue to recover and eventually, yada, yada. So that's Reason.com saying it would have been dumb for this guy to go to jail for a fish, but they don't endorse his behavior with not taking care of the fish. So prosecutors and law enforcement all got that. Go figure. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
WTRC FM.
Roland said he should have disguised his fish as a baby and then he would have been hailed as a hero. Shame on you. Isn't it funny though? Like different. So if you go and you actually catch the fish and then gut the fish, that's cool. But the fish in your house is different, even if it's a fish that you can eat. Casey, whoa, hardcore fish. He can live forever now. Live forever, eat Twinkies and cockroaches. That dude must have had a dirty, dirty apartment. Cockroaches are dropping into the fish tank for the fish to eat.
How he didn't get his security deposit?
I'm sure he didn't get his security deposit back.
Top Democrats expressing concern about the president's DHS changes. Attorney General William Barr says he does.
Honestly, you had a guy call in and correct you about the guitarist.
He is reviewing whether it was properly authorized.
Okay, people keep doing this.
Yeah.
I know. No, they're wrong. They're wrong, yo. People keep doing it. I keep telling them you're wrong. I'm the one that found the music. I know who played it. These people don't know what they're doing. No, Casey, the song that you found and you downloaded and you put in the system is not Zach Wilde. It's just what the metadata on the video says. The crap that people choose to get upset at me for. The last break, the music seemed to trigger a few of us to need to refresh. The video was just spinning. The video was spinning? You know whose guitar has a spiral on it? Zach Wilde! That's good stuff. That's good stuff. Smart. Smart, Alex. Smart Alex. Smart Alex. Smart Alex. Smart Alex. Smart Alex.
Yo, we got it the first 3 times you said it.
You didn't acknowledge it. Alrighty, alrighty, alrighty.
It was an assault!
Dude, your boss, man, he's your boss, okay? He's rubbing off on you.
He's the guy who hired me. Wait, no, you're talking about you. You're talking about you? You're talking about John? Or are you talking about Carl?
Did I ever call myself your boss?
I mean, technically.
But did I ever call myself your boss?
No.
Okay. I don't sign your damn paychecks.
I don't know.
If I did sign your paychecks, I would have a lot more coffee coming my way from you. But I don't. So I didn't. What?
Hey, what do you want? Sunita's throwing herself a
Who?
1 year. Sunita. With
Who?
Mix.
Oh, yeah.
She's throwing her 1 year thing.
Is that what's going on?
There's wings and meatballs.
Okay, so 1, didn't know she was here a year. 2, do we all get annual parties for our employment here?
No, she's just throwing it for herself. It's just her thing. It's just her thing.
So do I get to throw myself?
Hold, no, you're not allowed to leave, dude. Get back in here. Dude, she throws herself annual parties for her employment?
Well, this is her first year. She threw herself a 30-day party. She threw herself a 6-month party, and then she's. This is her 1 year. It's just her thing. She's a party planner, and there's like food. I was just telling you.
Is this why there's like randomly cakes and crap out there?
Sometimes.
Because there's times I'll go out there, there'll be like a whole big old sheet of cake, and I'm like, what the hell happened here?
Well, thanks for telling us now. Yeah, that's figured. There's food out there.
Does she get presents? Does she get presents?
Yeah,
How does this work?
Mugs, and there's like beer mugs with Coronas in there for the guys.
She buys other people presents.
Yes, for her party. It's just her thing. It's how she celebrates.
So she threw herself a 30-day?
And a 60-day.
A 60-day.
30-day, 6 months. And then
30 days and 6 months. And now a year party for herself for merely being associated with us.
She didn't think she would even be here 30 days.
And she gives everybody else presents? I mean, except for me, of course, but...
Yeah, no. I mean, Joe gets to take the Corona out of his, but he can have the beer mug.
Corona's not beer.
I know. Yeah, but it's alcohol. That's alcohol.
It's debatable, okay?
You just want to come bring me the mug? We'll get some meatballs and some wings. I have less.
I feel like I need to do a podcast with her about this.
Yeah.
Because...
Wait, so what does she do? She sells for Mix.
She sells for Mix. She's the one that sits right in front of Dave out there. She's super nice. She's super cool. But
yeah, she's awesome.
I mean, even though she is a Kaepernick fan, but it's just so weird because he came in. He's like, "What the hell's going on in the sales pit?" I don't know what's going on in the sales pit. He goes, "I don't know." Last time I was out, I was in the sales pit for 8 hours today. Not a damn thing happened. I leave and she throws a party.
It's the Casey's Gone party.
I mean, I'm telling you, I cannot get invited to a damn party in this building. I don't know what it is. Seriously, I took my daughter to school today. I dropped her off at 8:30, and I came right over here. And I was in that sales pit until 2 o'clock. Not a damn thing happened. I walk in here. He walks in at 4, and he's like, "There's a party going on out there." The lengths that you guys will go to keep me away from your social events is staggering.
So we just got to track your whole show so that you can come to one of these parties. There'll be no live stream that day, by the way.
I was told I was going to the award show.
Oh, yeah.
I was told that I should RSVP to go to the award show, and so I RSVP'd, and John goes, "No, that doesn't mean you get to go. They were just getting a head count." I was like, "John, what do you think the head count is for?"
Yeah.
So he didn't.
No, that was like the year that you won. Like last year.
Oh, no, they didn't even invite me last year. I'm talking about the last one.
Yeah.
We'll
be there.
Dude, the lengths, I'm telling you, the lengths that people in this building will go to keep me away from their parties, I swear to God. Oh, my God.
Thanks, Dave.
That is funny. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I feel like we have to talk about this. Like, yeah. I can't not talk about this, right? All right, so real quick, I got some things to get over. Traffic sucks in some parts, construction, go around it. Second Amendment Arms and Range. Okay.
Phone number.
50% off by mentioning me. You get to shoot twice as long for the same price, okay? Anger your friends and your parents. Go to secondamendmentarms.net. Phone number 574-2595-953. You can also send me a text message at 45364. Cool. Got all that? Right.
That's it.
Okay. So Joe walks in at 4 o'clock today. Okay. Let me back up. Yeah. I dropped my daughter off because we're in Elkhart right now. We're staying in Elkhart. I dropped my daughter off at her school in Niles. Okay. And I come right into work. I have to do everything around here. Do I just need to like de-squeak everything in this?
Apparently, I moved it like this. I rotated the mic, and it went.
To be fair, we were told we were getting new mic arms, brand new mic arms, like 2 years ago, and it never happened. And so now they just all squeal at us like we're in the Munsters house. So anyway,
I come in and I'm in what we call the sales pit, right? Because Mark McGill won't get out of the studio. He's just in here farting and doing whatever. So I don't want to be in here while he's doing his stuff because he's cutting promos and things like that. So I stayed out in the sales pit. I found a vacant cubicle and I sit there, I put my headphones on, I listen to angry music, and I type angry things at people all day. That's kind of what I do. Yelled at a bunch of people earlier today in the sales pit. Had a couple of people going, wow, is he doing sales now? What's going on? And why is he so mean to everybody? But it turns out I was dealing with a fraud situation for my company. And I'm in the sales pit from what, 8:30 to I think like 2. And so then I come in here and I get ready for my show. Joe, because he goes to school, he comes in at 4 and he goes, what's going on in the sales pit? I go, I don't know what's going on in the sales pit. He goes, I don't know what's going on in the sales pit. I'm like, Joe, I'm not in the sales pit. What's going on? He's like, there's a big party going on out there. Like, what? I was like, I don't know. They're always throwing a party for something, right? Okay, we just found out, okay, one of the salespeople threw herself a party on her 1-year anniversary of being employed here. Mm-hmm. It wasn't thrown for her. She threw the party. Okay. I did not see her all day. I want you all to know this. Okay. I was in the sales pit all day. She was not here. She's not here. So then we find out that she has thrown herself a 30-day party. So when she was here for 30 days, she threw herself a party. And when she was here for 6 months, she threw herself a party. And now that she has been here for a year, by the way, happy anniversary, she threw herself a party. I was in the sales pit all day, Joe. There was no party. The moment I come in here, there's a party. Now, to her credit, she throws herself a party. She's got food all over the place. She's got mugs with beer, apparently, and she has presents for people.
Well, it's Corona.
Okay, Corona. Water.
According
dirty
to Casey,
water. Dirty water, yes.
I'm underage. I wouldn't know.
It's drink out of the toilet. You get a better buzz that way, especially if it's got a bleach tab in it. So, dude, the lengths that people will go to not have me at their party, it's getting ridiculous.
Well, I'm assuming as soon as we go to break, we're going to go get food.
Well, I have to crash the party now. Yeah. I can't let her know that she can have a party and urinate all over my territory without inviting me. Right. She's not allowed to do that. But I'm never here. This is the thing that everybody has to understand. I am never in this building. I come in at like 2:00. I do my show and I leave. I'm never here. I have been here for the past 2 days all day long. Nothing happens. The moment I leave, a party breaks out with food, alcohol, and song.
I don't know what to tell you, Casey.
I must be a special kind of repulsive. Honestly.
I like you.
Which is strange because
I haven't quit yet.
I am still moderately attractive. I am not as adorable as I used to be. Look, we have Daywalker Dave is smuggling mugs with beer. Oh, they're beer mugs. I don't know why I thought coffee mugs. Why did I think coffee mugs with Corona mugs?
What's Corona?
What the heck is wrong with me? See, this is how little I get invited to parties. I was thinking it was a coffee. They have little bags in them. What's that thing?
It says beers to her name. I don't know how to pronounce this. So I'm not going to butcher it. 1 year.
We don't need to say her name
in the mix.
Wow.
And then it's got a
whole presentation
of a Corona with lime on a beachfront. Here, you can show that to live stream.
She has. This is crazy. I'm going to block her name.
Mix Purple.
I'm going to block her name. Yeah, Mix is one of our stations. Is purple. So she makes these things up. This is awesome, by the way. I'm not criticizing her. I think this is amazing.
This is nice mug.
That looks like it's really thick glass. It looks like it's 1/4-inch glass.
It's 1/4-inch. It's got a little thumb rest. It is comfortable.
It's a Stein.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. You can just call it a Stein, Joe. It's okay.
I don't know what I'm doing, Casey.
It's this, but a glass version of it. Okay?
Yeah.
My 3D printed Stein. This is amazing stuff. Okay, so she's got a whole thing where she's got like little like greeting card things. She's got
about
beers.
6 inch high.
This is like good cards. This is laminated cardstock. Okay, it looks like it's been what do they call it? Scrapbooked. Mm-hmm. So it's got the little edges on it. She's got what appears to be a high quality beer stein,
6 inch high with about an inch.
She's got to have a cake out there. She always has a cake out.
And then maybe 3-inch wide. So it's decent.
This is astounding. I mean,
use this for things that I can legally drink.
I need to throw parties for myself, apparently, because I won't get invited to any of the other ones. But I've literally been there since 8:30 today, and not a thing has happened in the sales pit, except for a couple of people asking if I'm still homeless. Other than that, nothing has happened. And all of a sudden, I leave, and she has thrown this giant bash, and there's a huge party out there. I mean, it's glorious, don't get me wrong, but holy smokes. The lengths that people will go to not have me around.
Yeah.
What are you doing?
I think mine has a crack or a scratch in it right here.
Well, it's okay. You don't drink beer.
I know, but it's still slightly disappointing.
Well, just go out there, find Dave, swap it out for his, and nobody will know. It's all you got to look. This is why I don't get invited to parties, because I do things like that. She got presentation bags and everything. This is. How long do you think it takes her to plan this stuff?
I don't know.
Has she been planning? Was it something she thought of yesterday? Or
I doubt that.
Do you know how I know when it's my annual anniversary that I'm employed here?
Someone tells you.
My mom sends me a message 3 days before.
Oh, that's cool.
Other than that, I have no idea when I started here.
I don't remember when I started here.
I have no clue.
I think it was
I think I've been saying 7 years for like 3 years now.
August? I don't know. Couldn't tell you when I started here at FedMed.
She's got it dialed down. She knows exactly when her anniversary is, and she throws a whole party.
Hey, to each their own.
That's crazy. I mean, it's awesome. Don't get me wrong. I'm always about a party, but the moment I left the sales pit, the party broke out. I'm going to start taking this personal, people. Okay? I'm going to start taking it personally. Anyway, 574-25-95-95-3. Whole article written about why Mayor Buttigieg tore down a bunch of houses coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's.
I'm so perplexed.
You coming with me or not?
I'll do it at the news break. I got stuff I got to do. Some of us don't just push buttons for a living. I mean, literal buttons. I push figurative buttons. Okay, it's a little bit more finessey. Whatever, $8 an hour guy. Dude, take your mug and swap it out. Find somebody you hate, swap it out.
I only know you and Dave. I like Dave.
Okay, then find somebody else and swap it out. Just trying to help the kid out. It's a nice mug. All right. I mean, look at this presentation here. I mean, this is, she's got a whole like greeting card thing. She got Corona in there. She got a little bag. She got the mug. She's going all out. I mean, is that like a baby Corona? That is. It's a baby Corona. 7 fluid ounces. It looks like a deflated balloon. It's got like the extra long neck. But what a trip. I didn't think people actually did this stuff, but I guess they do. But look at that. Nice thick glass. I don't push buttons, I trigger people. I mean, it might just be dollar store stuff, but it's still awesome. I don't know if it is, but I think it's pretty neat that people do that. Pretty neat. See, if I had the motorcycle, I could have the beer on the way home. My name is Joe, and I work at a button. That's funny.
Are you overpaying Uncle Sam? Will you pay more taxes than necessary when you retire? Surveys show that most of
Ariana Grande filed trademark for "Thank You" next, which we've been saying since before she was born.
anything about it. This is Casey Weed, certified financial planner practitioner. When I got my start as a financial advisor,
Okie dokie.
I was a trained salesperson, but I soon realized there aren't many guarantees in the financial world, and selling another financial product has little value to my client's bottom line.
Actual text. But Casey, if you throw a party for yourself, will you be invited? Knowing me, no. Because I would throw a party and then not invite anybody, including myself. How much are they paying her? LOL, Jesus. Bring in a case of hams for your party and a clearanced Walmart cake.
They're packing up.
It's all right. It gives me more ammunition to badmouth them if I don't actually get any food. So. Oh, and everything's purple because she loves her purple. She's all about the purple. So she got some homemade meatballs over there or something. Fried chicken. Man. Huh? Well, wings and thighs and legs are all that matters anyway.
After that, it's just $30 for a month's supply. Sure beats paying big bucks for just one blue pill.
Does she make the food or does she buy it?
Awkward in-person doctor's appointments to get the prescription. Hims has doctors online who can prescribe the medication.
Because if she made some fried chicken, I'm all about trying some fried chicken. Homemade fried chicken, man. I'm on the hunt.
Not have any non-alcoholic beverages.
I'm on the hunt for homemade fried chicken. I bet she is a cat person. I don't know. We can find out in the podcast when we ask her about it. She got her check from George Soros.
I'm Ryan Martin with Louis Dreyfus and Claypool. Marketing today, so much more than just selling across the scale. A lack of foreign trade has...
Ooh! Did somebody retract something? Because it still shows in the chat. Haha. Invite a bunch of people to the party. That never happens. They will show up for nothing. Ha ha ha. Nice. I mean, it seems like a very trivial thing to discuss, but honestly, it's like...
Oh, here's two.
Huh?
Beers too instead of beers too.
Ah. Casey's the stapler guy from Office Space. Yes, that's me. You've never seen Office Space, have you?
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. So Joe went and got some of her meatballs. She has meatballs and fried chicken. Is that what she got over there?
Yes, she does.
Everything's in purple, of course, because she loves purple.
She's gold.
Well, I think she's always got. She always has purple. I think she usually has the gold highlights too. Yeah. All right, I'll try and get some fried chicken here soon. But interesting. Wasn't planning on talking about that until like Daywalker Dave walked in. He's like, "Yo, we got like a whole party going on out here." Like, what? Who figured? The Daily Caller did an article on Pete Buttigieg and Beto O'Rourke. They said why these two Democratic candidates have been involved in bulldozing houses. Now, the 1,000 Homes in 1,000 Days campaign was something that was done here, and the idea was to take down blighted homes. So we didn't have a bunch of condemned properties and things like that up. And in large part, I was fairly supportive of the mayor with this, but there were some genuine, I think, contentions that some of these houses could have easily been rehabbed and didn't need to be bulldozed, and that not all of them should have been condemned. Okay. Pete Buttigieg presided as mayor of South Bend over a plan that resulted in the demolition of more than 600 homes over a period of about 3 years, 1,000 homes in 1,000 days, sought to rehabilitate or demolish vacant or abandoned homes in the northern Indiana town. An initiative that some progressive activists have criticized for encouraging gentrification and reducing affordable housing. By day 1,000, the city had taken action on 1,122 properties, nearly 40% of which were repaired, according to the South Bend website. Okay. The initiative sparked an enormous backlash from residents, BuzzFeed reported Tuesday night, which propelled Regina Williams Preston to a city council seat. Here's the thing. She replaced a guy who opposed the plan as well. The problem is that he didn't have a D next to his name anymore, and that's how she was able to get elected. But I wouldn't expect BuzzFeed to know the nuances of inter-South Bend politics. Now, according to BuzzFeed, the demolition program... Why do they keep going to BuzzFeed? Why don't they just come here? We're going to go to BuzzFeed and do a story about BuzzFeed who's never been to South Bend. And we're going to ask them about stuff that happened in South Bend. We're not going to go to local media and ask them. Anyway, according to the BuzzFeed report, the demolition program ultimately cost her family several investment properties that they hoped to repair, but couldn't after Williams Preston's husband suffered a serious illness. Okay, the story of the South Bend demolitions has parallels to the real estate dealings of another Democratic presidential candidate, Beto O'Rourke. In El Paso, where O'Rourke was a city councilman, he supported the bulldozing of the Duranguito, the oldest barrio in the city. So it was called a Duranguito, to make way for new development. Okay. And by the way, in large part, I mean, sometimes these things are really good. Okay. Just, sorry, my throat's messed up. Probably because I don't have any of the party food. In O'Rourke's case, there are some shady transactions, such as his sale of the Imperial Arms apartment complex to a campaign donor in 2017. Nothing there. For Buttigieg, there's no appearance of corruption, just a technocratic philosophy that he may have picked up during his time in management consulting, which, for Councilwoman Williams-Preston, caused her to lose thousands of dollars in investment properties that were bulldozed. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that that she was going to do what people would have wanted with them. Okay, it's just I'm just quoting the article here and going over it. Obviously, if you're in her shoes and you guys have bought some of these properties and you're wanting to rehab them, and then all of a sudden the city just bulldozes them, people get upset. And we used to talk about this quite a bit. There were a lot of people in those neighborhoods that were saying a lot of these houses are not condemned houses. Like, these are houses that just need work. And if we were able to either give or at a serious discount allow somebody to take them over with the stipulation that they rehab them, they can become beautiful homes that could be affordable housing and that sort of thing, and they don't necessarily need to be torn down. That was her contention, because she says that several of these properties they were planning on rehabbing, and they were going to invest them, flip them, rent them, what have you. And then the mayor came in and just destroyed them, as opposed to just allowing her and her husband to go ahead and take care of it. Okay. For those watching the developments of the 2020 Democratic field, these real estate fights are a pretty good way to tell which side of the party's internal divisions they will come down on. On the one hand, are insurgent progressives like New York Representative Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, whose opposition to the Amazon New York headquarters was informed in part by concerns about gentrification. On the other hand, there are veteran deal makers like Nancy Pelosi, whose husband has worked in real estate. These fights O'Rourke and Buttigieg have taken on are likely interpreted among Democratic Party leadership as an indication that they can be worked with. They understand the need for the development of a policy environment that encourages it. For progressives, it shows they aren't committed to affordable housing, battling gentrification, and other left-wing urbanist priorities. Although I will say that there was an article written about Pete Buttigieg last week, I think, in which they attempted to put to bed the gentrification argument. And they had the highlights of one woman who went in there and said that she wanted some money to go ahead and fix up some properties, and he offered her double what she was asking for, or something like that, and how he was really concerned about it and was working to go ahead and hear people's voices about gentrification. The problem is that this has been a huge concern, primarily in the South Bend Black community, for really his entire term. And the 1,000 houses in 1,000 days, or 1,000 homes in 1,000 days, or whatever it was one of those things that a lot of people in the Black community in South Bend really didn't like, and they're concerned about gentrification and what that could mean. What do we have here? Pelosi's own real estate corruption was exposed when Peter Schweitzer published his 2011 book, Throw Them All Out. The book revealed Pelosi obtained $50 million in earmarks for a light rail project that ran near a building that her husband owned. A Washington Post investigation in 2012 found that congressional earmarks often went to projects near property lawmakers owned. Beto, Buttigieg, and New Jersey Senator Cory Booker, Spartacus, are all trying to occupy the same position in the Democratic Party primary field, and Booker, who lived in an affordable housing building in Newark, will be in a good position to criticize both of their records as the race unfolds. In recent years, the traditional lines of housing policy have become somewhat blurred. Democrats have historically been the party that represented the interests of renters and construction unions, whereas Republicans represented homeowners. In California, the current political divides are the opposite. Democrat-controlled cities like San Francisco are famously hostile to new housing construction, while state-level Republicans try to ease zoning and other regulations to pave the way for new developments. Interesting stuff going over this. And like I said, whether you think the 1,000 homes in 1,000 days was a good policy or not, there are a lot of people in the city of South Bend who really didn't like it. And when you hear Pete Buttigieg's name, and some of you've heard me say this too, some of the people from the outside who come in and they go, hey, what are some of the issues with him? And the word gentrification keeps coming up. And that's not because it's something that affects me. It obviously doesn't. But at the same time, I hear from a lot of you that it does affect. And you have been concerned about it for a number of years now. And that's something that has to be dealt with. Because again, you get to a national campaign. First of all, you should properly vet all of the candidates. So you've got to go, and you kind of have to go hard at the candidates, and you have to look at all of the stuff that everybody doesn't like. Okay. You can have puff pieces, and that's really all that's been written about him in the traditional media has been puff pieces. But you've got to go through the stuff too. He's a mayor. He's been a mayor for a couple of terms, and there's a lot of things that he does that people don't like. Well, you've got to cover that stuff. If you're going to properly vet him and see if the criticisms are warranted, or if they're excusable, or if maybe the negatives that happened as a result of things that his administration did were outside of his control, if you're going to have that intellectual discussion and whether or not he should be the representative of the Democratic Party going forward, or at least be a serious contender, especially since he might be in a cabinet position if he doesn't get it, or he might be a vice presidential nominee if he doesn't get it. These are all things that have to be properly vetted. And so far, the media has not done that. That's the thing. And here I am. Of course, now I sound like I just hate Buttigieg. Rah, rah, rah. Again, I want him to be the nominee. Why? Great for my career. Okay. Really good for my career to have Pete Buttigieg as the Democratic nominee to run for president. But you also have to cover it honestly and intellectually. And I don't think the traditional media has been doing that. And gentrification is one of those things that the Democratic base around the country will hear and immediately start diving into and paying very close attention to. So even if somebody is being puffed up as a saint, as he has been, if you say the G word, all of a sudden the Democratic base pays real close attention. They start diving in, looking at the details to make sure that he could be their guy if he's in the right position, according to what the voters want. MNC News Time is 5:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news at weather station. News Talk.
Oy. Man. Nice stretch. All right. I am going to play another commercial for you all. And she's a trip, folks. And so we went out to look for the food. She had packed everything up to take off, and so we got some wings. She got them from JJ. She didn't make them herself. She got them from JJ's, but I was like, yeah, we did a whole segment on it. Oh man, it's pretty funny. JJ's are really good too. You got cupcake.
The icing tastes weird. I think it's the weird, whatever the frick these are.
The edible gold flake.
Yeah.
So, is there a market for a moderately attractive white dude eating chicken on Twitch?
Sure there is.
I can just sit here and eat.
Yeah, but then he will be asking you weird questions.
Are there records of masters forcing abortions on their slaves? I feel like that would be counterproductive.
Yeah.
That's a good question. Now, I will counter that with a lot of slave owners did have relations with their slaves. Sometimes it was not consensual. And if a pregnancy happened, I wouldn't be surprised if there was an induced abortion as a result, or a miscarriage, if you will. As far as records, it's a good question. I don't know. I really don't know. Taste it. Well, these are JJ's. Okay, JJ's makes really good food. So if you go to JJ's, I love JJ's. Everything you get there is going to be good. But it's just it's a well-seasoned, crispy chicken wing. She's so funny because she calls everybody baby. She would not. She had all the food packed up. I'm like, I was just out here looking. Not a big deal. I don't need your food. She wouldn't take no for an answer. She took me out to her car to get her food. So.
Whether you are a new donor or a donor who decides to donate more often, will help neighbors in need.
Tracy says, I'm not going into the shit I've seen on Twitch. So what you're saying is there's a market. Well, I figure if those little Japanese girls can make six figures just eating food in their Tokyo apartments, why can't a moderately attractive white dude make some bits eating some chicken wings on Twitch? That's all I'm saying. I feel like I have an opportunity here. I need to find my niche. And yes, I'm eating this very daintily because I don't want my hands all jacked up.
Could it be your 20-year-old mattress? Or maybe it's the second.
Once the camera's off, I'm going to murder these things.
Either way, check out Elkhart Betting. At Elkhart Betting, we don't have easy payment plans or financing available.
You have an Impress screen.
Impress! With Impress Jewelry Creations.
Quilted and pillow top sleep sets factory direct and saves you up to half of what a national brand costs. Get the most bet for your money by factory direct at Elkhart Betting. Find out more at elkhartbetting.com.
Well, that was just darn good. This ain't my niche. What if I do it in a thong? Really? It takes donations for that, huh? Well, okay then. Something for everybody, I guess. If you donate to me now, I will make Joe go get me a coffee. If you donate $5,000, I will make Joe go get me a coffee. That's how it works, right? Generally. Asking for a friend. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3.
Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595 953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. So we went out there, and again, I'm not going to bring her name up, but a coworker threw a party for her 1-year anniversary being here. And so we were talking about it because it was funny because I was out in the sales pit all day, no party. I come into the studio and a party breaks out. It was just hysterical. So I go out there. She's had everything packed up and she would not take no for an answer. She took me out to her car and made sure that I got some chicken wings from JJ's, which is amazing, by the way. JJ's is fantastic. If you haven't had it, you should. So thank you. So we got a mug. We got a Corona. I got a Corona. And where's your Corona? Did Dave take it out?
Dave took out my Corona.
He kept it.
Yeah, he kept the Corona.
He kept your Corona. And we got some fried chicken. You had some meatballs.
I did.
And then you had the cupcake. Mm-hmm. So there you go. Cupcakes were what? Chocolate with...
No, they were white.
White, purple frosting, gold flake on top. Yes. Yeah. There you go. So thank you very much, coworker. We appreciate it.
Whoa.
574-25-95-95-3. I feel like I do this more than once or twice a year, but it really ends up being once or twice a year that we basically figure out that everything we thought we knew about evolution is wrong. And we have to add a bunch of stuff to it. So this is the headline from the Wall Street Journal. Evidence of new human species found in the Philippines. Cool. A handful of fossilized teeth and bones. Scientists say they found evidence of a previously unknown human species. It's weird how that happens like every year. I'm just saying, it's kind of, maybe we don't know as much as we think we know. So, evidence of a previously unknown human species that lived in what is now the Philippines about 50,000 years ago. The discovery deepens the mystery of an era when the world was a melting pot of many different human kinds on the move. Small-jawed with dainty teeth. Lots of jokes in there. Able to walk upright, but with feet still shaped to climb. These island creatures were a mix and match patchwork of primitive and advanced features in a unique variation of the human form, according to scientists in the journal Nature. Evolution creates mosaics of traits like this, said anthropologist Matt Tokary at Canada's Lakehead University and the Smithsonian's National Museum of Natural History Human Origins Programs in Washington, D.C., who wasn't involved in the project. So he's not involved, but we're talking to him anyway. The report makes a good case that this is something new that we have not seen before, he said. The announcement of a new species brings a region of the Pacific once considered a backwater of evolution into the mainstream of early human development. Several anthropologists who study human origins have said this. Many specialists in human fossils believe that a half dozen or so species of hominins, as closely related human species are called, may have coexisted around the world between 50,000 and 250,000 years ago. Several intermingled with our direct ancestors, bearing children together and leaving a legacy of hereditary traits that affect our health and well-being today. All right. I guess that was all because of a study of ancient DNA. For the first time, the Philippines is part of the evolutionary debate, said archaeologist Armand Mijars, I hope I got that right, at the University of the Philippines, who led the excavation team that discovered the fossils on the island of Luzon. We can see now that the islands are a playground of human evolution and natural selection. So it's pretty cool. And we also had the other thing, which I teased yesterday, is we got the picture of the black hole. The very first picture of a black hole. And Joe's reaction to it was probably normal. I think a lot of people probably had this reaction. I kind of did too, which is, it's a terrible photo. Because now, I read on why it's a terrible photo. Because it would use, what, eight satellites or telescopes or whatever. Would they use 8?
It's like 8 satellites that are telescopes or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. All right. So, yeah. Statoscopes. So we used 8 of those in order to get this shot. We've never photographed a black hole before because you can't see black holes. But black holes have obviously that gravitational thing around them. And the reason that the material around them glows a little bit is because of, I think they said, radiation and speed. So we were able to get a photograph of the very first black hole. And then, of course, it's not crystal clear, so some people had some questions about that in spite of the fact of how far away it is. The explanation was to get the photo, we needed the ability to photograph a bagel from Earth on the moon. So you had to just put it in perspective. So if you got an astronaut up there on the moon, okay, I'm not going back to Friday's discussion, okay? But if you have an astronaut on the moon and he drops his bagel, you need to be able to go ahead and take a photo of it from Earth in order to go ahead and get this shot. That's the equivalent of what kind of technology that they were needing to get this. And they were able to get it. I think it looks like the Eye of Sauron. And that was the first thing that I thought of, in spite of the fact that I've only seen 2 of those movies. And yeah, so there's that. There's tons of memes about it, but it looks really neat. It looks really cool. First time they photographed it. One of the women who was a part of the team, she saw the photo for the very first time when they unveiled it at the press conference. She said she started to cry. And when they interviewed her about it, she said, it's kind of interesting. We all work on black holes every day. And you kind of forget that we've never seen one until now. And so it's pretty cool. So if you've never seen the photo or you were unaware of it, like my news director was unaware of it, you can go check it out now online. Just go search for black hole photo. It's all over Drudge. So if you just go to the Drudge report, it's up there as well. But it's still pretty neat. First time we've ever photographed a black hole. And we found out that there's a totally new species of human-like creature from 50,000 years ago in the Philippines. So there's that. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Bypass backups and toll road trouble. Find out if you're delayed with traffic alerts to your smartphone. Details at 953mnc.com.
Zach, they've explained why the sun doesn't rise over everything and why you don't see the same constellations. The Earth is really long. That's what he said, right? On Friday? The Earth is really long. Like really long. How long is Earth? Do they know how long Earth is?
Well, his example was a 10-mile long room.
It was a 10-mile long room, wasn't it?
10-foot high ceilings.
That's the thing. It's like you don't have enough time to just go in. I mean, some of the stuff is just so laughable. It's like I don't even need to address it. But you don't really have time to go into a lot of it. But yeah. See, Frank, told you. You watch one Lauren Southern video, you're a fan, dude. Can't help it. It's just how it is. She the best. You should watch her going with her like man on the street stuff when she goes into the feminist protests. There was one where she was interviewing a bunch of feminists who were marching naked down the street, and they were talking about the patriarchy and women's rights and how women need to be taken seriously. And then she goes, "And you think walking naked on the street gets you that?" It was just like, honestly, you don't need anything else in the video. It was a good line. I have an Impress, right? Impress and Corehorn. Wow, they just saturated them all in the end there, didn't they? The bat. Impress. You know what you can do with your tax return? You can impress with Impress. With my tax return, you can. I'm getting a good one. Love you, Ryan. John, Alex will be. John will be bursting in the door in 3, 2, 1. John's probably asleep right now.
No, he doesn't usually fall asleep till about 7.
Oh, okay.
We're a full-service siding company.
He's usually up till about 7, and he'll pass out and like about 10. Finish whatever he was doing, and then because he's probably downloading a bunch of stuff, and he's probably watching like I Love Lucy on YouTube, and then he falls asleep watching that.
He watches Lucy up there?
Yeah, on his.
Does he really?
On his laptop, he'll bring up YouTube and watch I Love Lucy while his main computer's out.
Really? I've never seen him do the I Love Lucy thing.
Because I used to be here late at night because of football games and stuff.
Yeah, that's
Be
interesting.
here till like 10, and you'd be watching I Love Lucy on his computer, and you'd download a bunch of stuff on his main computer.
Thank you, Alex. Slutwalk. Yes, that's what I wanted. Pest control sucks. Always miss the show. LOL. Hey, I did pest control for a number of years, man. Held every license you can get in residential and commercial pest control. Almost opened my own company twice. Second time would have happened too if my business partner didn't get cancer. But it gave me a very interesting education in getting illegal medicine from Mexico to treat his cancer. Because he had his daughter go to Mexico because he didn't want to do chemo. His daughter went to Mexico and got a bunch of drugs that you can get in Mexico and brought it back, and it actually worked. But then he disappeared, so I think he died. So, but before he disappeared, and I think he died.
Your wife a royal infielder with that?
No. Because I think that Shanna she's accepting of it. She said I even looked hot on it the other day, but I think she might have been drunk. And so the first time I took it out on the street after I just dropped off the friend's house when we went to McDonald's before I rode it all the way up to Elkhart, somebody cut me off. And I told her about it, and she immediately flew back into the I hate motorcycles thing. Even though she's always loved motorcycles, she's just scared. So I don't think that she is in a position, even though I think she wants to get on it, for both of us to ride in case something happens. She doesn't want something to happen to the girls. So she wants a backup parent. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. Newstalk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-953. So I got to tell you about Impress Jewelry Creations. Now, I've had a lot of you reach out to me here lately and say, you know what, Casey, you were right about them. Yeah, I know. I mean, I only endorse places that are amazing. You should know this by now. You go to Impress Jewelry Creations. First of all, they just kind of want you to stop by and say hi. By the way, guys, I've been moving. Sorry, I haven't been by in a while. I promise I'll come by soon. But you go in, they offer you coffee. They offer you a tea. We had a listener who said that they were sick. They went in and Kelly made him a special tea for his illness that seemed to work wonders. And he was raving about the customer service that he was getting there. But you know what? That's kind of what you get at Impress Jewelry Creations. They have, first of all, the staff has been together for a long, long time. Bill Martin has built a really good crew. Many of them worked together at other places before he started the business. And he brought the best people from other places that he had worked with in the industry under one roof at Impress Jewelry Creations. So when you go and you get a custom piece done, most of the time what will happen is they'll send it out to a third party. So they'll just contract it out to somebody else to make. When you go to Impress Jewelry Creations and you get a custom piece done, guess where it goes? In the back. Right there in the same building with the people that are there every single day anyway, under the watchful eye of Bill Martin and the experts there at Impress Jewelry Creations. So customer service is going to be second to none. They have a whole line of their own custom pieces now that you cannot get anywhere else in the world. They do have pieces that are made with the rarest materials in the solar system. I'm not exaggerating when I say that, because a lot of this stuff is literally fallen from the stars. There is stuff from mines that are going to be closing down in the next year or two, and you will never be able to get this material ever again because it's the only source of it on planet Earth. And they have it at Impress Jewelry Creations. I know that a lot of you are thinking about popping the question. A lot of you are going to be getting married as we're into spring and summer now. Get your significant other a truly unique piece from Impress Jewelry Creations that they can't get anywhere else in this country. Go to ImpressJewelers.com. You can take a look at some of their selection right there on the website. And of course, you can visit them in person at 1233 University Drive. They're in the City Plaza there next to Temper Grill and C. Kramer Interiors. And let them know that I sent you over there. I really appreciate that. All right, 574-2595-953. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I feel like I teased something yesterday that, was it the school in Michigan
Is that what I teased? The school in Michigan? Okay. So I think I mentioned the school in Michigan yesterday, and then I wasn't able to get to it. Darn it. Let's see, Michigan. Now I got to look for it because my show prep has just been swelling today. But there is a school in Michigan. It's a charter school. Now, charter schools are great, but what ends up happening is that sometimes you get some crazy people who run these charter schools. In Los Angeles, for instance, La Raza has several charter schools which preaches ideology of Aslan. It's a racist separation from the United States. They don't like white people. They don't like black people. They don't like Asian people. It's a whole reconquistador sort of a movement. But there is a new report out. There is an organization known as the Clarion Project, which describes itself as a nonprofit organization that educates the public about the dangers of radical Islam. Well, they have uncovered, they say, that there is a school, if you will, in the state of Michigan. It's a private school that has been linked to Iran and Hezbollah propaganda. Now, I suppose if you're going to talk about places that have been linked to Hezbollah propaganda, you'd probably have to name MSNBC and CNN and a whole host of other publications as well, because they do tend to carry their water. But it's a private Islamic school in Dearborn, Michigan. I know you're shocked about the location. Usually has unusually close ties with supporters of the fanatical Iranian regime and its Lebanon-based proxy terrorist group Hezbollah. So according to the Clarion Project, they say that the school teaches students from kindergarten through 9th grade. Great Revelations Academy was founded in 2015 by open supporters of Grand Ayatollah Mohammad Hussein Fadlallah. By their own admission, the school's founders are dedicated to spreading his message. Well, he was a supporter of the 79 Islamic Revolution in Iran and is considered to be a key inspirer of Hezbollah, which of course is a terrorist organization. Some go so far as to describe him as the terrorist group's spiritual leader. So if this is true, obviously it's a little disconcerting. The Jewish press describes Great Revelations Academy as a 24-classroom school equipped with a prayer hall, science and computer labs, gym, cafeteria, kitchen, nurse's office, a playground, and a hall for community events. But obviously, Jewish publications are concerned about this as well. So now, again, I'm just telling you what's in their report from the Clarion Project. I don't have any firsthand knowledge of it, but this is the type of information, of course, that people have to be aware of. And since a lot of this stuff is on the school's own website, you have to wonder if they're really hiding from their ideology, especially being in Dearborn, Michigan. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I just got my taxes done, and Ryan Fair over at Corhorn Financial Group came through once again. We had to amend 2017's taxes, and then we did 2018's taxes, and I'm going to get a nice return. By the way, thoroughly happy with the Trump GOP tax bill because it has helped my family tremendously. And for those of you out there who might have been confused about your taxes and didn't really know what to expect, and if you have a professional, it really does help because then you're going to maximize your return. You're going to minimize what you owe. And all of the uncertainty that we had about our taxes over the past couple of years is now faded away, and we are in good position because of the experts at Corhorn Financial Group. Go to corhorn.com. That's KORHORN. Make your appointments today. And of course, please let them know that I sent you. Hannity's coming up next. Thanks for watching and listening. We'll see you tomorrow.
Sun Services is your local independent American Standard heating and air conditioning deal.
Oh, here we go. There it is. Black hole. Do, 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 do.
And we want to continue to give that to our customers. We're able to do that with great products.
First ever image one.
Really care about each other. We're not just concerned.
I think it's neat. I think it's really neat. I wish that I would be alive in a time where we actually knew what the hell those things were. But I know that that's not going to happen, and I don't know that we're ever going to know, but they are so interesting to me. Thank you, Comets. Thank you, Mike. Do appreciate that. That was all one name. I missed it, Al. I missed it. Wow, I actually got all my reads in right there at the end, even though they tried to bomb me in one break. All right, any questions, any comments before I bounce out of here? and wrap up the show for today.
President Trump continues his tour of Texas, where he signed executive orders that will speed up oil and gas pipelines.
Have you seen any animations for like new subscribers on YouTube pop up on my screen, like on the live stream?
The little,
yeah, just like
there's the little list thing, but not really.
Just the list thing, though, right?
Yeah.
Had an 80 pass me on the DC Beltway, like I was standing still, was doing 85. He bounced off of an RV and a van, then ended up splitting himself on the guardrail, literally. Wow.
You can go like an Indian and still get yourself still in the car, too.
Well, Warren's he's a motorcycle rider. So
Warren was driving like a normal person.
Doing 85 and somebody passed him. Yeah, like he wasn't doing anything. No problem, Kiefer. I do, but you'll message me. Okay, cool. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Not a problem. I mean, you can get a hold of me most of the time anyway. Yeah, I had a bunch of coworkers like, where are you living now? Because everybody's like curious about the house situation. I'm like, nowhere. I mean, there could be worse places to stay than on the river in a 7,000 square foot house, but it's not our house. So I will say that I have been more comfortable in this house that we're staying in than I was the entire time I was at my last house for the past 3.5 years. And I'm not even moved into this place. And it has a puncture in the roof because a tree fell on it in August, and he's still fixing it. But, yeah. It's just a cool house. I mean, it's a concrete house that was built by a mafia guy who owned a concrete company. I mean, it's just... And it has all of the features of that. I mean, it's weird, and it's awesome, and quirky, and it's right there on the water. It's neat. Meyer has nice big shopping carts, just saying. Well, if you're going to need a good shopping cart, you might as well get a good one. Why isn't that house yours? Sounds perfect for you and the kids. It is, but it's also a very expensive house. Yep. Here's the thing that people have to... Okay, so I've had a lot of people... And by the way, I'm not criticizing. I've had a lot of people who have, recently heard about what's happened with us, and... So they're sending us their listings of like their homes, and they're all these beautiful homes that are like $250,000, $265,000 and stuff like that. I'm like, folks, I work in radio. I'm a single income family of 4. I got 2 little kids. Like I wish I could do that, but I can't. I just can't. So, a Hoffa's bone shown through the walls. No, but we are convinced there's a body in there. We are convinced that there's a body somewhere in this place. It has, I'm not joking, it has a nuclear fallout shelter.
Ooh.
Yes, but back when they thought radiation wouldn't go around corners. So it's really a concrete room with an S entrance, and it won't save you from nuclear fallout, but it will be very, very good for a tornado or something like that. And it's just kind of a cool room anyway. It could be a panic room. The way that it's designed, I think it would be a good workout room too. But yeah, it's very cool. It's a really cool house. And everything, so it has the original furnace in it. It was built in the early 60s. It has the original furnace in it because it was an industrial grade furnace. And it still runs beautifully. Like, they didn't spare any expense with this thing. This thing is solid. An escape tunnel into Lake Michigan. Interesting. So the man cave part of it. So downstairs, so there's 3 levels. The basement's really not a basement, but it has 3 levels. And downstairs, there's the tiki bar. There's 2 shops for like working. And there's a tiki bar, a fireplace, a ping pong table, which could easily be turned into a full game room, man cave type situation. There's tons of space in this place. It's huge. am I set on staying in Elkhart? You know, we're going to have to go wherever the best house for the money is, I guess. I will say that it's nice knowing how much my insurance is on the Indiana side versus the Michigan side, because my insurance is way cheaper, which means I can afford a little bit more house. The problem with that is that Bree's not going to be in that elite school that we got her into. But my wife is really digging Elkhart. Now, keep in mind, she's in a nice part of Elkhart, but she's really digging Elkhart. So, I don't know, to be honest with you. We're still looking all over Michiana just to see what we find. The rental market is just total trash here, though. I mean, people are trying to charge, you know, $1,000 a month for places that have stained carpet and holes in the wall, and it's just ridiculous. So, I don't know. But at the same time, I don't know if we have time to go through the process of buying again and find another house and do all of that. You know, I don't know. It's weird. Property taxes in schools. Yeah. I mean, look, the schools in Michigan have been very, very good. And we got Bree into an elite school. So we're going to take her out of her other school next year and take her over to this other school that she applied to and got accepted. So we'll have to find something that isn't Elkhart Community Schools if we do stay in Elkhart. And obviously, if we go to South Bend, we don't want her in South Bend schools. So whether that's private, charter, or just getting a zone variance and sending her somewhere, I don't know. Elkhart, the city with the heart. It is. Kiefer, it's awesome. I mean, it really is. It's very cool. It is a very cool place. But we're not rich, so... And he stole it. I mean, he basically stole the house. It was sitting for 10 years vacant, and he came in at a super low ball offer, and they came almost all the way down. So he goes, basically, I got it for $40 a square foot, and the land is worth that. So he bought the land and got a free mansion. It's kind of what happened. And he's just spent the past couple of years just trying to fix it up and that sort of thing. It's going to be, he thinks that if he puts $150,000 into it, it'll be a multi-million-dollar home, and I don't think he's wrong. It's that nice. It just really needs the roof repaired, and it needs some updating. But really, I mean, other than that, but it's also strange because the interior walls are not wood or sheetrock. Or sheetrock? What is that? What's that stuff you put on the wall?
Drywall.
Drywall. They're not wood or drywall. It's all cinder block. The entire house is cinder block. The guy owned a concrete company. He owned a concrete company, and he's already pumping out the concrete.
Gotta clean that money somehow.
And you're paying your own company to make the house. So the house is like, you couldn't like knock the house down unless you had heavy machinery. So all of the interior walls are cinder block. All of the exterior walls are cinder block. And then it's got some stone and some metal and all of that. It's awesome. And then he's got some textured brick and stone type stuff on the inside for accent walls that are really, really cool too. So I don't know. It's a trip. It's a very interesting house. On the river. Yep, it is on the river. And he has a boathouse. He's one of the only houses that has a boathouse. And he got grandfathered in. You can't have boathouses anymore, which I think is dumb, considering the weather here. But yeah, got to sell more knives, and you'll be set. Yeah, I actually got a call today. The holster business is taking off. The problem is that I'm not in my shop, so everything's a little slow going. But yeah. Yeah, 1960s. I think the X-rays would be interesting because we wonder, we certainly wonder if there's anybody in those walls, but I mean, you're not going to get to them without busting open cinder block wall. So my wife, when she went in there, she goes, this is really neat. She goes, but I can see why it sat for 10 years because it doesn't have a house feel to it. It feels like a building, like it's construction, because it's all block wall. There's not a lot of soft edges in it and that sort of thing. Well, one day, I certainly hope so. One day. But all right, folks, I am going to bounce out of here, but appreciate you all watching and hanging out with me. I'm going to go ahead and take off because I do have a long drive to get home now. So it takes me about 40 minutes to get home. But you all take care. We will see you tomorrow.